our B screen, and then we'll throw down the intro because we're already running late anyway. But see, the reason why we wait is because the reason why we go live and then wait is because Rumble's notification takes like 2 to 3 minutes to go out sometimes. Like I'll literally watch it pop up on my phone. And so it's like, we'll just give everybody a minute. Because one of these days I'll be cool like WDW Pro and all of those awesome guys and have like a really fancy like 5-minute intro that like keeps people entertained and shit while we're all like, I don't know, doing whatever we have to do in the back. But we're not that cool yet. We're not that cool yet. But we'll give you this one. If you really feel like it, you can completely and totally talk over it. This is literally all it's going to do. It's retro jazz.
Had to mute to talk over it.
Yeah, you got to unmute.
So loud.
Yeah, I always turn mine back. I've got my little speaker. All right, that's enough of that shit. That shit is really fucking loud. I need to pull that out. How are we doing today, guys? It's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. And welcome to Winding Down Wednesdays, boys and girls. That one evening a week that we come together to chit-chat about all of the crazy pop culture, nerd, and sometimes gaming news is going on out there in out there in the crazy wide world that we live in right now. And boys and girls, one of our other favorite things to do over there on Winding Down Wednesdays is, of course, promote independent content creators out there, people that are doing things out there on their own, whether it be movies, whether it be comic books, whether it be a regular old book or whatever else it is. Hold on, give me and all of that other kind of fun stuff out there as well. It's a really good time. It's one of my favorite things to do with this show. And that's one of the nice parts about that. We had a wonderful guest on last week that was promoting. Well, we had Dermy on last week, which is always a good time. Everybody's favorite little punching bag out there. Always a good time to chit chat with Dermy. But we had the week before, we had our boy Hojo on with his mythicals. And of course, Jason Sandberger, who should be here later in the second hour, supposedly. Allegedly, boys and girls, you know how things work with his witness protection program. It could be crazy. It could be insane. You never know what's going on with our dear sweet Jason. But that being said, boys and girls, we've got a lot of crazy things going on out there in the pop culture news, but obviously we're going to get to our dear sweet guest tonight, AC Pritchard, in just a minute, because he's got a Saga of Sunsets, which he actually co-produced with our wonderful friend Luke Stone, who we've had on here before, of course, the founder of FundMyComic.com. So that'll be fun to talk about all of his experiences with that as well. But one of the fun experiences that is going on right now that is not going to be fun, well, it'll be fun for us, but not fun for Disney, because Disney lost over almost $3 billion today in investment money. Their stock is currently in the toilet. They're bleeding it out crazy, and it's a beautiful and absolutely funny thing to do as well. And also to talk about some positive news out there. Twisters, the sequel that nobody thought we needed, but apparently everybody is absolutely loving it, is out there crushing it at the box office. And this is a director out there who just flat out said, I just want to make movies that are telling a good story. I'm not going to put messaging in my movies because that's not what movies are for. And I'm like, holy shit. So that works out well. And in what is probably a desperate attempt, but I might still end up going okay. Our dear sweet publishers of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is doing a crossover with Naruto, and everybody keeps asking me about it. I've already talked about it, but since I figured not only did I have at least one, potentially if Jason shows up, two comic book creators, or at least creators in general on the show, and then somebody else who does like this magazine thing or something sometimes as well. So they might have some opinions on those kind of things. I'm not sure. We're going to find out. But ladies and gentlemen, to help me do all of that and so much more, before we say hi to all of you beautiful, fine folks out there in the chat that have been waiting oh so patiently out there, the myth, the legend, the infamous Christy of Flip City Magazine. How are you doing tonight, my dear? What have you been up to?
Doing well. I think that's the first time that I've ever been called a myth or a legend. So I appreciate that. Flying high today. We're winding up. It's wind up Wednesday for me.
Ooh.
So I'm
wind up Wednesday.
I'm excited.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
The end of the week is best for us.
Oh yeah.
So,
well, see,
good.
Tomorrow is my Friday technically, because we have con this weekend. We've got Corpus Christi Comic Con down here this weekend, and so we'll be at that all weekend, live streaming it like Saturday and Sunday and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, tomorrow will be like the last day of like a regular stream, because we normally do that $5 Fridays thing, and they keep my ass into the chair all night. So we're doing $5 Thursdays instead, since we're still raising money for the con this weekend and everything else. So like, yeah, so that'll be yeah. So yeah, I'm excited too. It's like my Thursday today. So except it's like a Thursday that I have to go for dinner days. Yeah. So yeah.
And I'm sure you're live streaming at the con, all your fantastically followers and subscribers and all that. They're gonna probably help you fill up your long box, right?
Well, that's
is that what I heard?
that was. Yeah, that was one of the things somebody was asking about that during the morning prep today, was asking about that. Are you going to do that? Because last year we did the comic book hunting, and we were digging through everybody's long boxes of like the 25 and the 50 cent, the dollar comics. You know, I'm not trying to get anything fancy. We're going for the cheap shit here, boys and girls. We're looking for quantity here. All right. And yeah, so we dug that a lot. Like people were like sending me money on Cash App and shit like that last year. And so like I could go and buy more stuff. So that's what I told everybody. I said, we've got the bookshelf. Like you can kind of see the bookshelf. I painted the wall behind me, so I got to get the bookshelf. I had to wait for that to dry before I put the bookshelf back up. But I'd love to see like 2 or 3 short boxes, like cool looking short boxes on this thing, like full of stuff. So that would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Hey Jesse, I just want to let you know that I double checked the dimensions of a long box, and a Flip City will fit in there in case you ever want to go grab one.
Oh, nice. There you see. Look at her just slipping in that salesmanship right there. That's how you know.
It's my job.
There you go, right? I feel that. Well, speaking of jobs, ladies and gentlemen, we've got our dear, sweet AC Pritchard on here tonight. AC, why don't you give us a quick little intro about who you are, and then we'll get into like your full origin story. Like, because obviously we're like, we're big on comics, we're big on like nerd stuff. So we like superhero origin stories, so like how you got into creating things, how you got into creating comic, how did you end up meeting Luke Stone and all that kind of stuff. But give everybody the quick little rundown before I say hi to all of the chat, and then I'll give you a little time to prep for whatever's here. So how you been doing? What's going on with you, man? How's everything going?
Well, I just got through a big stressful move, but that aside, everything's going great as far as like I'm doing this campaign. I got my free content with my writing and stuff, because I should start by saying I'm an author and a musician. I've been writing basically my whole life, over 10 years of music experience, over a 20 song discography, multiple music videos, yada yada yada. I published a book recently. I have a novel in editing. The novel's over 150,000 words, and now this graphic novel. So I'm trying to do a little bit of everything that I'm capable of doing as far as writing, music, comics, the whole nine. It'd be cool to get some animation down the road, but that is probably the final eventuality of finding people, because like I do a lot of the work in the graphic novel. For example, I adapted the script. I'm making all the calls as the writer, with the art, but I give Luke utter creative freedom. And at the end of the day, I'm doing like the lettering and stuff too, and I'm gonna even do a little bit of coloring. But the animation is I can't do really any of that.
Animation's expensive too, because I mean, we look at successes in our. Yeah, it's time consuming. It's expensive. You have to commit to it. I mean, there's a reason why even like the major studios out there, it's like everybody asks, like, why did Velma get a second season? Because when you order animation, it's basically just as cheap to order 2 seasons as it is to order 1, because you've already got the entire crew together. You've already got the studio set up. It's like, let's just go ahead and do this on the off chance that it's good, because if not, well, getting everybody back together, it's going to be 3 or 4 years before we can get the band back together to do a second season. Of something like this.
That's fair.
So it's not cheap. I mean, that's where like Eric July talks about that all the time. He'd love to do animation. All of us grew up. I mean, a lot of us grew up during the 90s. I mean, we saw some of the best animated adaptations of comic book stories ever. Spider-Man, X-Men, obviously Batman, the animated series, Superman and everything else. So yeah, it's one of those things where, I think that's definitely a big thing for everybody out there. So all right, but we're gonna get into all of that and so much more, as well as obviously your book, your comic book, and all of that kind of fun stuff as well. Let's say hi to all of you beautiful folks out there in the chat, and thank you for the new follow. Abana, there we go, getting us a little higher and higher over there on Rumble. Jimbo, one of our fine channel subscribers, says, "Hail all, hail Jimbo, good to see you." Another one of the over on Rumble, and Madhouse Retro as well. Another one of our fine channel subscribers and all around supporters as well. Appreciate that. And yes, boys and girls, by all means, join the locals. Become a member over there. Fladius Assfire holding down the YouTube as well. Good to see you, buddy. Nightwing. Yes, Nerd was running late. I was waiting on some CBD stuff to heat up, and I had to fill some carts for an order that hopefully will get filled tonight. So yeah, had to be bad. So I apologize for that, boys and girls. Battle sauce, bat sauce. So that's bat sauce. That's not even battle sauce. That's bat sauce. Ooh, I wonder what that goes good on. What's going on? Bat sauce says beep beep. Good to see you. Love seeing new faces in the chat. If you haven't already, make sure you smash that subscribe button and the like button while you're here as well. Hey, look at that. Immortal Rising comic book. Hi, there we go. Look at that. I see that. Recognize that face as well. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see ya. And I wonder who that is. Pritchard Pub. I have no idea who that could possibly be. No clue whatsoever. There we go. Madhouse holding down over on the YouTube side as well. There's Christy, Flip Titty Magazine. There we go. Yes, please smash that like button. Absolutely. John Douglas. John A. Douglas says, what's up? What's up?
John?
Good to see you, John. John over there on Pritchard's channel. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, John. I see John around all kinds of chats. Yeah, John's a good dude. I see John around all the time. Awesome. Good to see you. Grim, otherwise known as Anvac. This world is made for memes and bobs. I agree with that. And we will get to memes at the end of the show for sure. There's Tim McKay over there on the other stream as well. Good to see it. That is wild. Tim, you look a whole hell of a lot like, God, is it? I can't ever remember what his handle is right now. I'm having a brain fart, but he's my other ginger. The man forced me to watch the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials from Disney Doctor Who. Jed. It looks like Jed. It looks like freaking Jed, our little ginger over in Geeks and Gamers tabletop. Yeah, dad voice activated. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. I want to make sure we don't miss anybody. Bill Armstrong. What's up, Bill Armstrong? Director may not be looking out and give out a message, but he did. And it's one I vehemently support. We have to fight the weather. There you go, Bill. There you go. I like that. Yes, we must fight the weather. I'm totally down that. I'm totally down for that. And yes, please. Thank you, Jim Bone. Appreciate that. Go check out Saga Sunset at funmycomic.com. There you go. We're bringing that up as well. Don't mind live lurking as an edit. 3rd video in 3 days. Hell yeah, John. Get at it, boy. Get at it. Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Keep it up. The grind. That's what that's what a lot of people don't understand. Is like everybody thinks like this. Everybody thinks the YouTube thing and the video content creation thing's easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Also, this is something else everybody always needs to remember. This is the reason why most people burn out and quit. 99% of the YouTubers and Rumblers that you follow that are over 100,000 subscribers or over 500,000 subscribers or 1 million or whoever you want to look up to, 99.9% of them did not get there overnight. it was years of grinding and making videos all day long, 2 or 3 times a week, once a month, however often they did it, for years, in some cases a decade. I mean, I think Gary's been at it for over a decade at this point, and he just now hit 1 million subscribers. And I say just now, I mean, that's some people, most people will never hit that, you know, and that's the thing. You just keep at it, you know, make it a hobby, make it a great hobby that you enjoy doing. And guess what? My favorite, this is what I always tell everybody. If nothing else, you will have a great hobby for when you retire, and you'll have plenty of friends that you can hang out with and screw off with and play video games with and have something, because that's what's the number one thing that kills people after they retire: not having something to do. You know what I mean? They
Plus
become
you gain a skill.
Yeah, there you go. And you gain a skill too. You learn to do a little video editing. You learn how to do streaming. You learn how to do a little audio visual work, you know, so it's all around. It's a worthwhile thing. So it's a worthwhile thing. And I like, this wasn't like, I didn't plan on doing this full time, at least not as soon as what I certainly did it. I kind of got forced into doing this full time. And fortunately enough, all of you beautiful, fine folks out there in the chat, I have like literally the best supporters in the fellowship, like hands down. You made my little bitty ass channel after getting nuked once and still keeping us alive and fully functioning and fully funded. And I love you guys so very much of that. I love you so very much of that. Yeah, Legend of Korra got ordered 4 seasons. Only reason it wasn't canceled. Yeah, exactly. Bat Sauce. You absolutely got that right.
Bat Sauce is my co-host for my show on Tuesdays called Iron Seas. We just got done talking about quote unquote muscle mamas, battle babes, whatever you want to call them. And yeah, so Korra is one of them because, you know.
Yeah, got that. She's beefy. It's weird how that model looks like if you'd swap the head with a dude, you wouldn't even really notice any difference. It's weird how that works.
I saw that a meme of that. I think they were like doing side by sides. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah,
well, because they've done that a lot in video games. There's a new game that they've got coming out that that was one of the one of the things that I didn't even get a chance to really cover it today. The new Capcom Street Fighter game. They've race swapped one of the chicks, and if that's not bad enough, they by the way, a pretty little blonde girl too. They race swapped her, and yeah, she's got shoulders like out to here. Like, what are these? But like, I don't know what are these ones, like the triceps or whatever these ones are called up here. Like, they're literally halfway to her ear.
You mean the neck muscles that women physically cannot get without, like, I don't know, steroids and like maybe surgery, I'm guessing.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah,
yeah. It's just like I'm just like, oh,
looking
my
like
God.
looking like Broly from DBZ.
Yes, that's literally, dude. That is actually spot on. Her shoulders and neck literally do look like Broly. Holy shit! We just looked at a Broly statue today too. That was that's getting displayed at San Diego Comic-Con over the weekend. That's so great. Yeah, holy shit! That
dude,
is
Broly. Shout outs to Broly. He's the dude. Too angry. That's what he is. He's too angry to be defeated.
Yes, that's the like the angry. He was literally the Hulk in DBZ is what he was. Yeah. It was hilarious. That was crazy. Those were great. Yeah, we went. My son and I, like, we moved into a new house, and we weren't gonna have internet for like a week and a half or 2 weeks because, you know, that's just the way some of these companies work because they're retarded, you know. And so like that was right when one of the movies was fixing to come out, I think. So they had re-released like all of Dragon Ball and DBZ on DVD, and so like I went and bought like four seasons or like a whole bunch of it that was like it was Dragon Ball Z, and my son and I binge watched like nothing for that, like after work and school for like the 2 weeks we had to wait for internet to get put on in the house.
You get that in the transition periods. You gotta have a database or some DVDs or something. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to watching DBZ with my kid. And then when he like understands it, I want to show him GT and see what he thinks of it, because that's the big divide, right?
It always is. Yeah. Well, because it's technically not canon, right? Right. And like I bought GT on DVD when they had it out with all the rest of that stuff, and we watched all of that too. You know, it's one of those things where it was just like, I mean, I'm a common nerd for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's like one of those things. I didn't know the fact that GT wasn't canon. I didn't know there was some big divide. So I just bought it and watched it. And I was like, that was pretty cool. That's
It's
neat.
pretty dope.
And then
Yeah.
and then I found out later, like, it's not canon. I'm like, I don't care. It was still good.
That they actually did a good job at how you. I mean, granted, it was a little two-dimensional expansion, and
Right.
what I mean by that is like they expanded the universe, but they did it kind of to scale. So,
Right.
so if the original idea was you collect all the magical wish balls on Earth, you make a wish, they're all scattered. They just kind of scaled that up. They're like you
Right.
gather all the universe balls and you make a wish, and you know what I mean. So I mean, but that works. That's kind of what you're supposed to do. Just maybe not exactly to scale like that. Is I think where a lot of the criticism comes in. But yeah, dude, the ideas, the tuffles, they're good ideas, man. There's some good ideas in there. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole like just having universal Dragon Balls, you're like, yeah, that was kind of it was kind of like, okay, it's just like and one of those things. It was like it also kind of made sense. Like if every planet's got their Dragon Balls, it's kind of like, well, if every planet's got their Kais or whatever corner second universe, and we know there's like somebody above those, you know, I guess you can kind of, but yeah, I can understand why people would be like, okay, that's pretty fucking dumb. Like, all right, fair.
Yep.
You're right. Yeah, it's kind of dumb. I get that.
I say it passes on technicality, but yes, that is a fair criticism. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will totally. I'll allow it.
Okay.
Okay.
It's better than Rings of Power. That's what I guess.
Good God in heaven.
That's not expanding. You're just kind of making a lot of stuff up and changing. That's like
yeah. That's
So.
essentially like Tumblr blog, like fan fiction, Lord of the Rings, and not even good Tumblr like fan fiction. Like there was some good Tumblr fan fiction back in the day.
That's where 50 Shades. That's where 50 Shades of Grey comes from, man. There's Twilight fanfic. That's where that started. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and it was so funny. I never read 50 Shades of Grey. But needless to say, me and some of my friends, like knows like, let's just put it that way. And both of us, we have read into some, well, let's just say, you know, there's if you really into some of that kind of stuff, like there's much better authors out there. Let's just put it that way. And I think my friend of mine, she said she actually read it. She's like, that was the whole 50 Shades of Grey. She goes, that was one of the worst books I've ever read in my life. She's like, it literally read like a sixth grader's fan fiction of someone who knows literally nothing about BDSM. And I was like, that's funny as fuck. I was like, I absolutely believe that.
I believe it. That's what the mainstream things typically are, is they're the watered down, I don't know, the stereotypes of whatever it's trying to portray. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's a good way. It's the stereotypes. That's what rises to the mainstream, you know? So, I mean, the things that are the most universal in the mainstream just have the most universal stereotypes that would work out. But like, yeah, when you go into the deeper underbelly of all these things that are like in the mainstream, the underworld of all of it, almost everything is pretty cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you get a lot of really nuanced and cool stuff, you know?
And
I don't need to even get into metal subgenres. There's a lot of cool music, you know, we can get into that. There's like, always more. There's always more. But like, yeah.
There's always more. But that's a really good point. I never thought about that. That's what a lot of this is, the stereotype. That's a really good description of that. A lot of it is. It's the stereotype of what the mainstream thinks. You know, it's the same thing. It's like Marvel. Now, given the early Marvel was good stuff, but it is a lot of it's still kind of the stereotype of what they think nerds want versus what's legit. It's kind of like the X-Men movies, the original X-Men movies from Fox, right? Where they put the cheeky joke in there about, well, what would you have preferred? Yellow spandex? I was literally like, yes. I said it out loud in the theater. Yes, I would have preferred the yellow spandex.
I thought you were going to make a reference to the not so subtle, have you tried not being a mutant line? Clearly don't be gay line, basically.
Right. Yeah, I heard
thought you were
about
gonna,
that.
Have you tried not being a mutant?
Isn't that in like one of the new comics or something? Isn't that what that was? I remember seeing something about that.
It was in one of the X-Men's. I don't know. I had to mention it because one of my co-hosts mentioned it in the Discord earlier. And I was like, That's just, it's topical. But yeah.
I saw that. It's just some of that stuff is absolutely
Pandering.
They're just like, could you be in it? Yeah, it's pandering and it's just so on the nose. Like it's just so obvious. You know, like I went on a little rant today. I don't even remember what the video was over now, but it was probably either like Alyssa Mercante or one of the other idiots out there. But it was one of them situations where it's like, we all see through your bullshit now. You tried selling everybody this bill of goods and you sold some people that it was going to be the new hot thing, like the woke, the spirit of the age, all the rest of that shit. Right. And it was like, you sold them a bill of goods and now you realize that guess what? The majority of people out there don't think not only just like you, they don't think anything like you. Like you literally are the bubble and the closed-minded individuals you claim the rest of the world is.
Yep. Total projection.
And now, 100% of projection. And now the reality is hitting them in the face is because everything they've tried has failed. Everything they've tried has failed. So, yeah. But that's why this is a great segue. That's why people like you and Luke and everybody else exist, because the legacy institutions have failed us so much. And so that's a prime example of why fundmycomic.com and so many of the rest of you guys, independent Iron Age, whatever you want to call it, is out there now doing this thing. So, my dear sweet AC, tell me, buddy, how did you get into making comic books? What was this? Where did all of this come from? How did you find yourself as a comic book creator and internet personality running around and shilling things? How did you come here? What's your superhero origin story, Butta?
So my origin story, first of all, my superpower is I have terrible eyesight. That's my superpower. Because it led to me. It's true though. It led to me playing more video games, watching more movies, reading more comics, listening to more audiobooks, stuff like that, gravitating into that direction of things, because it just makes it a little hard to physically read a lot of times. I can get by with like a cell phone. You can make the text bigger and all that and really squint for like a tweet or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. But to like get through a fat chunker of a book is kind of a thing. But yeah, so I've always kind of gravitated to a more visual format, and kind of where my world originated was as like a single frame of a comic in my mind, because I kind of imagine everything as a movie. So when I decided to apply my writing, the first idea I had kind of manifested in the form of a comic book. Before I even wanted to get back into writing prose, I basically was having comic book ideas. And when I realized not that I can't like physically learn how to do all of the art myself, which I am working on and planning on doing for my free content. So that'll be kind of charming, is the word I'll say. When people know me for like Luke Stone and Mark Hatherley, and then now I start releasing my free comic, and it's just like me, shitty, you know what I mean? Stick figures and stuff. I'll say it'll be charming when I get there. But yeah, I'm working on that. Essentially, that was where it manifested. And when I realized I didn't have the chops to get it done in the timely manner that I wanted to reach short-term goals, I basically leaned back into my prose writing, and I started manifesting this story, my original comic idea, that is, as what turned into my novel, right? And like the point of view changed, and like everything got so fleshed out over time that I had such a clear idea in my mind of like how this world operates and stuff like that, with like minimal world building. Like I have one map, and it's the map for the story. I needed a map for the island. I made that myself, which I plan on making more because I fucking love making maps, bro. That is art, and it's therapeutic. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my biology or what, something in my DNA that just says make maps because they're so useful. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, like I didn't like make a world map. I didn't like name every city on the planet. I didn't like flush all. I very much like took the pragmatic approach and built only what I needed to along the way. But by the end of a 150,000 word novel, when you're tying up all your loose ends and thinking about all the different angles and things that basically go into a novel in a first person perspective at that, and just having a cast of characters, it would be the same for a movie, and it's the same for a comic and everything. You just get things fleshed out naturally. So when I came out of the tailpipe of that, I had all this momentum and gas still left in the tank that I just fired out an anthology series of short stories, and A Saga of Sunsets is one of them. So essentially, this is set in a very fleshed out world that I've been working on for many years. And when I got this short story out, and developed some of the initial profit, I was able to like think about shopping around artists, and Luke Stone really jumped out at me. He was on my radar initially. I liked his style. It was kind of like what I'm looking for. Like I like that cell shaded look. We were just talking back and forth about DBZ and stuff earlier. I've told Luke this. It does kind of have a very slight DBZ vibe, but more so, it's like I get like a Saturday, like the old school American Saturday cartoon vibe from it. Is what I've heard some people say, which I really appreciate, because I that evokes things like the classical Batman series in my mind and stuff like that, and like Spider-Man. If you remember watching that as a kid, that was cool.
Yeah.
But so he was on my radar right away. But then, almost like Providence, he appeared on Iron Age Nights with A Drink with Crazy, very shortly after that, when I was right at the time when I was starting to start thinking about getting an artist and taking it seriously to develop these short stories that I kind of now had as like a product that was sellable right now and stuff like that. I was ready to take the next step, because I feel like short stories are the perfect things to develop into comics, and therefore, why not into a short movie? Like, even if it's an hour long, because that's about what my audiobook pans out to be. And I know like video is way different, and it might pan out to be 3 hours or even a season. I don't know. Because I'm unfamiliar with that yet. I'll get there. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. But essentially, I got to listen to him talk about his origin story, much like a show like this, basically. And his belief system, and how he approaches art and what he's capable of and stuff like that, and like kind of what he's been through. And I like really related to him after that episode, and essentially just like messaged him right after. I'm like, yeah, dude, I decided like I for sure want you to be like one of my artists for like a while at least. And bro, ever since then it's only gotten worse. Where like he's in danger of like being my exclusive artist. Like I might not even consider other people
in danger.
Yeah. I might not even consider other artists. You know what I mean? I got him, and I got Mark Hatherley, and that's all I need. Because Mark is like super traditional. He's like an old military vet. He has like half of my other short story sketched out. So I actually have a second comic coming down the pipeline, guys, and it's from a full-on traditional artist. Luke gave me the option because he does do traditional, but I wanted him to do it this way because I feel like there's a lot of reasons. You have a lot of tools at your disposal, essentially. But
hey, AC, when you can find an artist that is going to always be there for you and deliver on time, or at least close to on time, don't let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
and I'm sure he doesn't see it as a danger zone either. He's like, woohoo, a regular client.
Exactly. And somebody that I can like, somebody like-minded,
Yeah.
And he seems like such a genuine dude at that. And on top of all of it, he's investing in tools for indies everywhere in the form of Fund My Comic. It's the same kind of power that you bring to the table, Chrissy, and that Richard from Iron Age Media brings to the table, and Royce from A Drink with Crazy. And yes, even common nerd platforming artists like me, or writers like me, creators on like a show like this, right? Like, yes, podcasters count too. Like, we're all part of the same machine. That's
It's all the same ecosystem, and I think AC, we probably came across all the same people in different ways. With me in particular, I look at people's mission statements, and when I looked at Fund My Comic, and I think I probably that crossed my path 9 months in, loved their freaking mission statement. And same thing with Iron Age Media. I'm like, dude, you guys are on the exact same path as us. This is, this is my circle. These are the people I love. Like, it's kind of like uh gathering up of the kind of like-minded ish people, but it's a huge variety of like-minded ish. That's why I say ish, because I'm sure we don't agree on everything, like
Yeah,
how the world should be run or anything like that. But fuck, I just make a funny magazine. Like, I'm not here to like recreate society or anything like that. But I know it's in the culture. It's not politics, it's culture. And that's what Iron Age is about, is creating the new culture and trying not to be too gatekeepy about it and accepting a lot of different viewpoints into, the community, I guess.
yeah, because the goal is not an echo chamber. Echo chambers
Mhm.
are detrimental to any society, to any community, to any even club, even a club. It's a little detrimental to just have an echo chamber. It's harmful even.
Yeah.
You want to be challenged in respectful ways,
Well,
so
can
that we
I
can
can
all
I
grow.
brag on you for one moment?
Sure.
As far
I should.
I'm going to brag on you for one moment, because I don't think anybody but people that have maybe had you on their podcast, which is probably a good amount of Iron Age people, but freaking AC has a killer press packet, which made because I'm going to have you on my show on August 8th. So you're locked in now. You can't say no.
Okay.
Lock it in.
Which made my job way easier. So that is a huge thing, and also inspired me to update my own press package to make it easier for people that are going to have you on to create something, whether it be a bio or a thumbnail or whatever needs to happen, so good job on your press packet. I personally really loved it.
Oh, thank you.
It's
I
a
have
press
to.
packet.
Okay, so I think I forgot to send you the press kit, Common Nerd. I'm sorry about that. I'll send it after the fact, so you can look at it. But
Thumbnail's already made. It's cool.
yeah. I saw that.
He
I'm like,
doesn't
I
give
was
shit
looking at it.
now.
I was looking at it. I'm like, did he? Oh no, I didn't send it. Fuck. But anyway, that comes from my band experience. That's grinding for long enough where you start realizing you need some of these things for like magazines, for example, or whatever. You can send the press kit to like the venue, and then they can get the flyer made or whatever it is. And you can have your own mission statement in there. But yeah, I have to give credit to RH Snow, because I actually had her on my show, Pritchard Pub, and she sent me her press kit, and it just like I was like, I forgot about these. I forgot these existed. And I was talking about her just like you just talked about me. So I have to pass it. I have to pass it along. That's the source. I can humbly take credit from my musical background, but she really is the one that reminded me, and had me, just be able to put something like that together and know what to do, or rather remember what to do, I guess. So
Yeah. I
um,
mean, and I would say to any indies that happen across this stream that are looking to, expand their audience or influence or things like that, it is one of the easiest things to do is put together a kit. I'm sure you can just Google press kit to see what to include.
yeah,
And there will probably be step-by-step instructions on how to do it. Like, seriously, do it. You probably have tons of writing, tons of art, all that kind of stuff. So just do it. It's easy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a one-stop shop for you and your brand. All the information they need. It's really that simple. You can make it however you want, but like I like to have it on cloud storage like Google Drive. Then you could just have a series of folders, put everything there, a music video, a promo video, whatever, links.
Yep.
You can keep it all separate and organized, whatever you want. One thing, even you could just have one document that just has everything. Also, whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter. Just so people have something, I guess.
Yep. Agree.
No, absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
really quick, I am going to get my son situated here. So
No,
you
by all means,
guys,
go right ahead. We'll watch your
yeah.
trailer.
Oh, thank you. But yeah,
Absolutely. No worries.
I'll let you know when I'm back.
No worries. Sounds
Appreciate
good. We'll be here.
Okay.
Oh, look, everybody's muted except for me. So go to flipcitymag.com and check out our free magazine. Hey, Jesse, you gotta play AC's. This is about AC, not about me. You gotta play his trailer here.
Tensing the muscles in his hands, he remembered how he claimed his name. That winter so long ago now, where a band of rogue bulls had been pillaging every village between the mountains.
Their rampage broke against me, however,
He thought.
and a blizzard rose up to protect me.
The storm had raged for 3 days after the horde arrived. Hyman had gathered his brothers and cousins to strike first, though. When the stars came out, most of the horde slept. The storm had broken, and Hyman knew that was his chance.
My cousin still claims I caved in their leaders faced with frozen fists.
He grunted and brushed a numb finger across the remains of his nose.
The cold claimed a nose, 4 toes, and nearly both hands that night. But I bought my name with it.
How's it going, everybody? This is AC Pritchard, thanking you personally for making it this far into the video. I just wanted to say that I look forward to watching this project grow over time and giving you the best product that I can possibly give for being so generous in your possible support. So thank you for your consideration and have a nice day. Let's see where the road takes us. Cheers.
Oh yeah. Bat Sauce, where's the
I
music
would
video?
assume that background.
Go ahead.
I would assume that
Go ahead.
song is written and produced by AC, since he has a music
would-
background,
I would think so. Yeah.
little
Either
rock
way, I'm
and
not-
tune.
Oh yeah, it is. They got the background music's really good. But no, I like this. I like the idea behind the story of that. Bat Sauce, is the music video on here somewhere? I don't see it on the website. I don't see it on Fun My Comic. He should have it ready. Wow, he's away. He's AFK right now. He's AFK right now. But I like that. I like this. I like this. I like this. Let's check out some of the description here.
You know,
What do we got?
my favorite. Hey Jesse, scroll down just right there. That is right below that, the purple orc
Yeah.
below that guy. That is
Oh, that
my
action?
favorite still within the campaign.
Yeah.
No, the one above it. That's blue.
What? See, that's the one I was
That's
at.
good,
There's this one right here. You're not keeping up. You're not paying attention.
Oh, yes. Well, you know my problem with the lag, honey.
Oh, that's right. That's right. One of these days we're gonna get you fiber internet. One of these days we're gonna get you fiber internet.
No, no. All I need is a better PC. So go buy Flip City Mag, you guys, so I can
There you
buy a
go.
better computer, for fuck's sake.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's on his channel. It's the last video posted, I think. Okay. All right, Bad Sauce. Matt, Flatty's Ass Fire or Jim Bone or somebody, can you go find that and drop the link for me in the chat and we'll pull that up if you would be so kind. It's supposed to be on Pritchard's YouTube channel. But yeah, Saga of Sunsets is a gritty adventure fantasy that dives into fatherhood, power, ambition, and morality set within the grim world of Arkare. Here there be Vikings, orcs, flying ships, mystery symbols, and yes, dragons. See, now we're talking. See, I'm a big fantasy nerd to begin with, so I love this kind of stuff. Like fantasy stuff has always been some of my favorite. So I am totally down. And I thought, and it's funny too, because I was looking at the pictures on the side earlier and I was like, man, that looks like a big book. That looks like it's going to be a big one. And yeah, 72 pages of full color, boys and girls. And you can get this for $25. 72 pages for $25. Hell, you can get the freaking digital version for $10 if you live somewhere that shipping's absolutely average. I mean, you can get the entire package for $50. This bundle includes one signed hardcover physical copy of A Saga of Sunsets, as well as a bonus downloadable digital copy, some extra loot of your favorite character, a signature of both Luke Stone and AC Pritchard. That is freaking cool. That is freaking cool. You get a digital copy, assorted stickers, and there'll be more, it looks like, if you end up getting some of their stretch goals. I mean, this is for you get a black and white manga edition cover. That's pretty dope. I mean, $25 for 75 pages. That is a hell of a steal. And you get the hardcover edition or the paperback edition. The hardcover is only $5 more. Like, you really can't beat that with a stick. You're right.
Yeah.
Right? A hardcover for only $5 more? Like,
Only-
that
only
alone is
$5
worth it.
more. I'm gonna have to find out where they're printing this.
Right? Well, you need to hit up Luke, apparently. So, yeah, that's cool. So, 72-page full-color epic follows the story of Himon, Horfist, an icy orc Jarl who was promised a succession by his king. Along with the crown and the title comes the mighty flying longship known as Evening Star, a one-of-a-kind vessel capable of escaping their winter homeland for greener pastures across the endless waters. All he must do is escort King Tavis to a final resting place of his choosing on his own terms, far from the polar homeland of orcs. Whoa. Himon has the ship, the crown, and magic to gain, but with his sons along for the adventure, he has everything to lose. Nice. I love that. I love a good fatherhood story, too. You don't get as much of that anymore. I love it. I absolutely love that.
Well, and the time is ripe to do that, featuring and highlighting father stories, especially if you're watching, current television and movies where they really like to shit on the father. Like it's a worthless duty. Worthless duty.
Right.
I said duty.
And she said duty. She said poop. Ha 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 ha. What's up, Jacob Morhar? That's a new face in the channel. You must be one of our new subscribers. Says, hi, it's my first time on here. Well, welcome. Popping your cherry for the first time on a stream. Giggity. I'm a huge Disney fan because they help me going through my tough times and depressions. I feel you on that one, Jacob. I don't want anything to happen to modern Disney. I feel you. There you go. I can understand that, man. I think a lot of us are like that. Yeah, there you go, Bill Armstrong. Why not both fiber and a better computer? See, I like the way you think, Bill.
Sounds good, Bill.
The way you think. I like the way you think. Bill. I love that. But yeah, I love stickers too. Stickers are great. I love stickers and cards and like all of that kind of stuff. So I love it. I absolutely love it. And here's the quote from Luke Stone. Now, not saying Luke would be biased because he's the artist, but Pritchard has created a wonderful fantasy world that is unique to anything I've seen before. Once you get past the initial cool factor of flying Viking orcs, you discover a world rich with lore that draws from a deep familial well. The story is more than battles and magic. It's inspirational and honors generational connections.
Nice.
I like that. Professional artist and founder of funmycomic.com. I mean, it doesn't get much better than an endorsement from the guys whose website you're on. You know what I mean? I don't know if it gets much better than that. I did my part. Got my Flip City mag. That's right. Friday Sassfire's got his. Hell yeah. I love this. Oh, I love this one. Is this the picture you were talking about earlier? Because this one's freaking dope.
Oh,
like
I don't actually recall that one.
Right.
I feel like he updated his campaign since the last time I've seen it.
Maybe
that is pretty dope.
Yeah, holy cow. I mean, that conveys so much just in that one image, like terrified, powerful, like you as a person terrified against this powerful monster of a king you've got facing you. Holy cow. I love it. I love this. It's the best looking comic of 2024. Hell yeah. Yeah, I like art's I like Luke's art a lot. There we go. I'll spit it out eventually. I will spit this out for eventually.
Yeah, he's a very hardworking illustrator. If you go and you check out Fund My Comic, you will see he's involved in several several projects over there. So Yeah.
Oh,
Luke works
hell
hard
yeah.
and is
Yeah,
reliable.
he is. Well, yeah, and that's the other thing is reliable is always the biggest complaint you hear about anybody from artists and stuff like that is those kind of same issues. But yeah, like Luke's a madman, man. Luke's a madman. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it.
Well, it's funny because we've been working with various artists over 5 years, and we haven't actually had much trouble with them, except for when they're pushing a deadline, not responding to us. But it's kind of those relationships you build. It's like, okay, I trust that you're working on it, and you choose not to communicate right now because you feel bad. And they
Right.
follow through. But I've heard it over and over again. One of my newer friends, Paranoid America, he has had an insane time. He's been self-publishing for 10 years. And the stories I've heard from him of people dropping out is insane. But it's because he had no way to vet his artists. And,
Right.
I think the username Paranoid American may give a clue as to why people might drop out because he might push them too far. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't have my name attached to this. Goodbye.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of I've obviously never been through like the issue of doing that, but that's kind of one of the things that we hear that time and time again is like how many issues y'all have with like artists being flaky. And it even happens in like the mainstream, like in the legacy comic book industry. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard. I used to hear from people like Clobby, or that I still hear from people like Nick Weiser and some of these others about how, yeah, that was one of the best books I ever read. The only problem was we had to wait a damn year to get the next one.
Right.
And it was either the artist or it was the writer or it was a combo of the both, and it's just like, and then you see people, and then one of the things is you see people like, oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. Mike Barron and who's the other one?
Rude.
Huh?
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
No,
I thought
just
you might have.
well, yeah, no, but I was just saying like guys that are just like constantly cranking out stories. And there's a lot of those guys that do that. There's absolute workhorses, and like I can only imagine it's like, and it's like I guess it's like artists. Oh, they're artists. They're flaky. You know what I mean? But it's like, but then it's like it's also a job. Like you have to get things. There's a reason why you're all starving artists and not and not professional full-time artists. Maybe stop living so much bohemia and maybe a little bit more Silicon Valley, and maybe you'll get some things done. You know what I mean? But it's just like it's just that stuff's so funny. That stuff is so funny.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, something that I'm loving about the ambition and drive of a lot of the indies is I've heard time and time again that in their business plan, they are planning on doing animations. And I think that is a fine thing to do. And also part of our business plan, but actually to be the studio that everybody comes to produce animations, and that is a way that, we all gather together and, start making the connections and networking with one another, helping each other out, is so that we can build this kind of parallel culture to the mainstream that, everybody seems to be really tired of, and start producing, higher and higher quality stuff, because the talent and skill are here. All is needed is the funds,
Well, and I think that's probably, and yes, the funds are always the biggest issue, but we're getting there. And that's one of those things, it's like that. It's what we always remind everybody. Walt Disney was one movie from bankruptcy time and time again over the years. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things like none of this, Rome wasn't built in a day. None of this happens overnight. But I think that is the one thing we're missing right now too, is an animation studio that like we seem to have like everybody in the fellowship, like everybody in this kind of like parallel economy kind of world that we're living in, that we're kind of building over here. It's like it seems like everybody's found like a lot of really good like publishing and printing deals. At least for some, at least people that were willing to work with us. But what we need now is like our own animation studio. And like you said, we've got the talent. It's finding the funding. It's finding somebody willing to organize that and put something together and all of that kind of stuff. And somebody willing to manage it and run it. You know what I mean? And I know one of my favorite guys, Culture Casino, which I need to have Culture back on sometime
love
soon.
him.
Yes, I love my CC. I love my CC. But like that's one of the things I know he's working on building essentially movie studios and like podcasting hubs around the country. That's one of the things he's working on. But yeah, that's one of the other things we need somebody. That's the one thing we're missing right now is we need somebody from the animation world, like a name that a lot of people know to finally get sick and tired of all the bullshit and go fuck off. I'm done. But the problem is it's like a lot of the animation stuff, either they're actually still doing a halfway decent job at some of it, or they're already kafunk. And those are people that would never work with them. That wouldn't pee on us if we were on fire. You know what I mean? So that kind of situation too. So I just don't think like everything else is the movie industry's had a breaking point. A lot of people have left Hollywood. We've seen that same thing with the comic book industry. A lot of people have had their breaking point and they're moved on. I don't know if we've seen that quite with animation just yet, but it's going to happen eventually, just like it does with everything else. So,
yep, I'm glad to be back. Sorry about the being away, but like, I call it decentralization, right? That's what we're headed towards.
Yep.
And
decentralization.
You mentioned earlier about animation. It's like it's like a machine that you have to get going and then you have to get the band back together. But that's why we need, like you said just now, an animation studio where that's their full thing. That's what they do, meaning the band stays together. They get paid. That's their job. And the studio itself is constantly looking for the next story to animate, essentially, which means, I feel like you could get that done with a few contracts and just splitting some of the profits a little bit.
It would be like the Wrecking Crew. It would be like the Wrecking Crew of animation.
Right. Imagine Flip City or Anvil Magazine, but instead of, essentially you get to choose, right? You get to pick and choose. But instead of an entire magazine, you got like the next best thing, So everything from the studio is like the cream would rise to the top, essentially. The studio would be able to dictate, and then the creator would still profit too, because there's not all the crazy corporate stuff that we see. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but like bands are lucky if they get in the teens for the percentages in their contract. Teens.
With a studio or with a label, you mean?
Yeah. It's not 50-50. No, it's not 60-40.
Bullshit.
No.
Such bullshit.
When the worst part is when YouTube's cut is one of the best cuts in the media entertainment industry, you're like, okay, we got a problem here.
That's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a problem. And then we wonder why, so many of these guys burn out, why so many people don't get into it. I mean, Dan Vasquez talked about the music industry thing before too. He's like, his friends have bands and they all want to get signed for a label. He's like, why the hell do you want to get signed for a label? He's like, look what I do. He's like, I don't have to answer to anybody. I'm completely on my own. I'm completely doing my own thing. I get to do what I want, and I'm still making a living doing it. Where you guys are scrapping, begging for scraps from these labels and these studios and shit like that.
Right. It's essentially, eventually we have to make a choice between order or chaos. And,
order out of chaos.
Yeah. Build your castle, right? Do the hard work. Do the hard work. Yeah. There's a lot of different stones you have to move. You have to do the marketing. You have to make a lot of your own promotional material. You have to write the thing. You have to probably spend more time editing it, because you probably won't be able to send it to 20 editors like these major publishers do. There's a lot that will go into it. Each of those is a stone. You place the stones, you build your castle or your tower out of the chaos, right? That's what we got to do.
Well, and that's the other thing too, is like, the best ingenuity comes out of having limited resources. We saw what they did with Godzilla -1, right? We heard about those stories where the guys had to do a lot of stuff in-house because they couldn't afford to send it out. So they learned how to do things that they didn't know how to do before, like certain types of editing and certain types of special effects and music design and all this other kind of stuff, because they were like, we can't afford to pay somebody else to do it. And look what they pulled off. Look what they pulled off doing that themselves. It's the same thing. Ryan Reynolds, obviously is on a press tour for Deadpool and Wolverine right now. And that was one of the things he talked about. He said that first Deadpool movie we had to do, he's like, I took no salary. He's like, I had to take what little salary I did have at the end and pay my buddies so we could have a writer's room on set. And he's like, look what we pulled off doing that. He's like, you do better things. You get more creative. You get more ingenuity. You get more inventive when you're forced to do things like that. And that's where we're at now. It's like, damn it, I'll do it myself. because the rest of y'all aren't doing this. This is exactly this is what they've done to all of us. There isn't, I would say 50 to 75% of the creators in the fellowship, the independents that we talk to, that we know, would not exist if Marvel and DC were still doing their jobs. Right. And that's what it's come down to.
I'd agree with that. Yes.
Right. Right. And that's what it comes down to is we finally got sick of it and went, fine, we'll do it ourselves. We'll build our own castles. We'll build our own publishing houses. I mean, we'll build our own distributors. We'll do it our damn selves. We'll find a way to do it on our own. And because of the internet, you can't stop us. You can not stop us.
And I'm excited to just see how this thing grows and builds. What we're looking at, in my opinion, is kind of a renaissance in its infancy,
Right.
And
absolutely,
it's kind of fun to participate in. Like, it's something that as you watch the industry crumble and fall and burn and all that kind of stuff, some people could take it as like an absolute travesty, but like me, I'm just fucking excited because I'm like, oh, out of the ashes, all these creative people that don't necessarily have much power in any kind of establishment bullshit, but to me, I'm like, woohoo, I'm on board, let's go.
The ironic thing is a lot of the people in like the protests and the riots and stuff that are so outraged about the perceived injustices that are and that's not to belittle the true injustices that are going on, but I digress. A lot of these people happen to be like artists and stuff, and it's like the energy's going in the wrong direction. It's like they don't even realize that this whole thing over here is actually happening. And the little guy is actually going to win, It's crazy.
It's absolutely true. But they've been told that we are the bad guys. So they can't come and go shoulder to shoulder with us to build something new and awesome, because we're racist, homophobic, blah, 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 all the is and the phobes and all this. So
independent
we're just going to go shoulder to shoulder. Yes, exactly. Yeah. We'll go shoulder to shoulder with ourselves. And then, if they want to come around and join, let's do it. You know?
Because we're actually inclusive. That's the thing.
That's fact. We are actually the tolerant people that they are. I mean, look at some of look, we got a lot of family friendly shows. We have people, I do a Bible study on Sundays. Okay. And we've got other people with much larger channels that do stuff similar like that. I mean, Luke's a former pastor, what I mean? And then we also have people like Zia. Okay. Love Zia to death. Gorgeous girl. We all know how she primarily makes her money. Okay. And guess what? She's still on Friday Night Tights. I'd have her on my show. I think pretty much everybody in the fellowship would have her on. There might be a couple of prudes that are like, no, but more often than not, almost everybody's going to have her on. You know what I mean? And it's like, we all know that we're the tolerant people that they didn't do. But going back to that thing you said about the Renaissance thing, I've had people ask me, how do you think this era of media and all of that kind of stuff will be remembered? And it will be a dark ages. It will be remembered as a dark ages. It will be remembered as a lesson learned for those that are willing to study it and actually find out about it. And yes, what came before the Renaissance? The dark ages. And I fully agree with you that we are at the beginning of a new renaissance in entertainment and media in Western civilization. And it's going to come from the decentralization. It's going to come from all the independents out there doing their own thing, doing it their own way. Rippa doing his thing, Fun My Comic doing their thing, all the rest of these guys doing their own thing, their own way. And somebody's going to end up being the next DC. Somebody's going to end up being the next Marvel. Somebody's going to end up being the next Jack Kirby. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to end up having those people
the next Mad
come
Magazine.
out of this. Yeah, there you go. Yes, thank you. The next Mad Magazine, which we've already got. It's Flip City Magazine.
Sick.
Right. And so, but that's what we're looking at. And that's honestly, I'm so glad we got back into this now that we've gotten the groove kind of flowing back after the move and everything else, bringing people like you on and everything else, promoting this stuff. We had the Nefarious guys on a few years back. I was talking to D. Snyder's son 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? I'm like, who the fuck? I had no fucking idea until afterwards. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't talk about it. You know, he's not trying to ride his dad's coattails, you know, and he's not like, buy my book because my dad's famous. He's like, buy my book because you think it's good. Fuck who my dad is. I don't want to talk about that. I'm like, we didn't fucking talk about it once.
But
I had to look him up afterwards. Yeah, it does help. But like I had to look him up afterwards, you know, I had no idea. But you know, like that's one of the cool things is we're all just out there doing our own thing, doing it our own way, and we are the future. You know, when I saw Ripa hit $1 million in 24 hours, I was like, they can't stop us. I was like,
Nope.
that's proof of concept. That is proof of concept right there. And they can't stop us. That's a tidal wave you can't stop. And they just have to either either become a drop in the wave or get washed away. That's exactly what's going to happen to the legacy media.
Yeah. They'll be fringe at some point for sure. Or like, okay, you said Disney's just losing billions. Like, yeah, that right there, case point, you know, set match. There you go. That's the end game for all the other ones too. You know, like it's just, that's what's going to happen. Like people realize you're disingenuous with your art and they're not going to support the art. Slowly but surely over time, less and less supporters, you know, and they're used to this inflated budget. They have to pay their celebrities so much when all you need is the person that's right for the job. It's all you need, right? So I don't know. I digress. That's what we're seeing, you know.
You know, that's really an interesting thought experiment. Like, is the actual celebrity needed? I mean, that's just kind of how our society works right now, even with the internet, you know, there's the internet celebrity now, you know. So to make something successful, you need to have the celebrity involved. I'm thinking, you know, maybe that is the bridge to, you know, cover the gap between, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, when you're talking about going indie and looking at stuff even like animation, right? Or even like translating a book into a comic, right? There's some fat that needs to be trimmed in order for it to be affordable. Even when you're talking about going indie at all, there's a certain amount of weight that you have to take on yourself, and that's because we're not all rich, you know. Like that's what it comes down to, because you could pay everybody, but then you're essentially your own label, and it's going to be a while before that overhead balances out or whatever. So essentially, you know, one of those things that you could trim is the single person that costs like $6 million just to be on, you know, one episode or whatever. Yeah, that makes sense. That's one of the things that like indie filmmakers, I think, look at too. They look at like their buddies, their family, local actors, stuff like that, you know, like people on Facebook, like you look like the character I'm looking for. Can you act, you know? And then they figure it out. It's like that Wild West mentality of like, it's building your castle, you know. That's what it is.
Right.
And
absolutely.
building it yourself.
I guess I'm just trying to judge, you know, what the audience expects in order to be able to share something. And even if same thing with like you know, producing independent comics. Like I have heard that it is a smart thing to do to hire a known name that has a name in the industry to do something in your book to then go push it out. You know, I'd like to see that end, but I don't see that happening anytime in the near future, maybe later when people, when the general public, or at least the niche, you know, wants to start seeking the newest, coolest thing, you know, like it was in the 90s. I don't even know if you were born then.
1990. I was born on the 90s. Yeah.
Okay.
So on the 90s.
But you didn't live through the 90s. Like that's something like for me personally, like while producing Flip City, like, oh dude, we're going to be like that underground cool thing. And then I realized we're not living in that age anymore, you know? So nobody's really seeking out that cool underground edgy thing. So we need to find the big names to talk about us, you know? And it's a little frustrating, but I found really cool big names to talk about. Thank the Lord.
Right.
Well, because I listened to, I heard a good portion of that before I had to hit the head real quick. You're talking about like, the celebrity endorsement thing and stuff like that, as far as, keeping eyes on things. And I get where you're coming from on that one. Like, say getting, Mike Barron or somebody like that to write your book or to help with a panel or do a cover or have somebody like that, a great artist do your cover or something like that. And that stuff will work to a certain degree.
Right.
But at
There's
the
a
end of
limit.
the day, yeah, there's a limit. And RMB was one of the first ones I heard say this. And I think he's Robert Meyer Burnett. And I think he's absolutely right. Authenticity is the new coin of the realm, right?
Mhm.
Because most of us don't trust these celebrities, for the most part, especially if it's one that unless it's one that's like one of us. You know what I mean? Like if Henry Cavill comes out and
Right.
goes, I just wrote this comic book and it's fucking
Right.
awesome. Well, we're all gonna buy that,
Yeah,
right? Because he's one of those guys that, he's been out, he's defended fans before. Again, he's pushed back against the media. There's a few others in Hollywood that we can name like that. But for the most part, we don't know we don't know anybody that we can trust anymore. That's the reason why legacy media is legacy media now, and they're not mainstream anymore, because nobody trusts them anymore. So the celebrity endorsement isn't going to go as far anymore unless it's somebody that's really well known in the community already and trusted by the community. And trying to reach the normies or the main street right now is kind of pointless. Because it's all in so much upheaval. Nobody wants to hear about anything. Everybody's just kind of done with everybody's bullshit. But eventually you're going to see that kind of renaissance of the new kids that are coming up now that don't want anything to do with this stuff. They will eventually seek out that underground stuff again. But you got to think about it. Underground stuff was underground for a reason. Majority of people never made it out of being underground and edgy.
Right.
Right.
So that's part of it at the end of the day too. So I think the authenticity being the coin of the realm is going to cause all of us to have to do a lot more work.
Yeah.
And-
Transparency for sure. Yeah. And authenticity.
Yes.
I'm just so happy to see so many people on their grind doing exactly that. To kind of be that cream that rises to the top, to be the person or people or business that people will trust their word, and then hopefully they're giving other smaller people hands up because they see talent and skill and grind and reliability and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, like I said, it's the reason I get so excited about the Renaissance, even though it can be a little demoralizing, because we're like in a transition period right now.
Oh yeah, it's really inspirational and powerful. Really, we are seeing something just being pulled apart and distributed, and just kind of like the bread being given to the masses for those who are hungry, and those who are courageous enough, I guess, to seek it. We're seeing the Wild West. There's a reason it's called the Iron Age. There's a lot of stuff like this, man. This is the true D&D adventure right now that we're seeing. And we're all gathering our parties, and basically by the end of it, there's going to be powerful guilds in all the major cities, and they'll have the magical artifacts and stuff, and there's going to be heroes, and it'll be fun. But I digress.
No, you're good, dude. You're spot on with a lot of that kind of stuff, and that's the future we see coming, and it's getting to a point now to where that's what's going to go on right now. The people that rise to the top right now are the ones willing to grind their butts off and do something for almost next to nothing right now. Because here's the thing about it. Say you're a comic book creator. Let's just use our buddy Jason Sandberg as an example, right? Hadn't made an outrageous amount of money, right? Hadn't made, $6, $7, $8,000 on his campaign total, been working. I mean, it's in publication. The book's already been launched. I've had one for over a year, at this point, and that's over a couple of years. Jason goes on a bunch of shows. He's become a permanent mainstay around here, and by the end of it, you know, in 5 or 6 years, even if he only ever makes 5 or 6 grand or 2 or 3 grand off of every book, or, you know, enough to just get the book published and out there, even if you got to work at 2 or 3 other jobs to make sure that you publish this damn book. And even though there's only 5 backers, they all got that book in their hand, because at some point you're going to have a resume. You're building up your resume by grinding and growing now, where things are in turbulence, because guess what's going to happen? Eventually, 5 or 6 years from now, you're going to have 3, 4, 5, who knows, 10 books underneath your helm. And then when somebody does notice you, you're going to go, yeah, look at this giant back catalog of shit. Look how long I've been doing this. And that's the kind of people that people are going to go, this is something I can read. I want a bunch. When I get into a character, I want to be able to read as much about that character as I can when it's good. And if you tell me you've got an omnibus with 10 issues and you're working on number 11 right now, homeboy, tell me more.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's established. Yeah.
It's established. And you know what? Established doesn't mean you made $1 million on your book. Established means you've made stuff and you keep making stuff and you keep going forward with it every single day. I mean, shit, look at my dumb ass. I got a 4,000 YouTube channel nuked, 4,000 subscriber YouTube channel nuked. My dumb ass spent a few months moping around, whipped my ass back into shape and got right back at it. And now we're fucking 1 subscriber away from 900 all over again. I'm going to make 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to beat my last record of getting to 1,000 subscribers by like 3 months.
Heck yeah, man.
Around.
That's the way.
You know?
That's
yeah.
the way.
So it's the fucking grind, and it's just doing it every day and not giving up. That's, what is it? 99, was it 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration, right? It's
Yep.
Right.
An absolute fact. So
Right. Well, and that is the other thing too. It seems to me, and I don't even think it is a seems, is you know, the establishment loves busting up any kind of grouping off of like-minded people on our side. And that's what happened with the whole YouTube purge. I don't know if that's when yours got lost, Jesse, because I'm still learning about you. But
Union
you know,
busters. Union crackers.
it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of exactly like that, you know? I mean, imagine if there was actually free speech on all these platforms. Like, we would have already destroyed their total agenda, and they couldn't let that happen.
Done.
You know? And so they bust us up, and then we all flee to different alt platforms where we can't really build as big of an audience as we could have on these major platforms, you know?
well, and that's
I think we would have already made $1 million by now if it wasn't for YouTube shenanigans, because of all the partnerships we had pre the purging, you know? So it fucked our business hardcore.
Yeah.
Sorry for the bad word.
No, you're fine. Fuck off. Don't worry about that.
You're
Jesus.
You're good.
But it's one of them situations where that's the goal, right? And like so this is one of the things that I always try to remind everybody about, because we see so much, you know, color a shock there that a giant fellowship of independent-minded individuals have all come together, and there's a bunch of disagreements and people get into pissing matches with each other. Color me shocked. Yeah, color me shocked.
That should happen.
It should. That's the way it should be. That should be the standard and not the exception, you know. But the other thing about that is at the end of the day, we all need to keep in mind that we have one goal right now, and that is to remove the legacy media from their power that they currently have. Whether that be DC, whether that be Marvel, whether that be CNN, whether that be Fox News, whether that be, you know, Disney. You know, whatever, pick or D&D, Wizards of the Coast. You know what I mean? Pick your dragon. Pick your dragon.
Choose an IP. Yep.
Right. We all have bigger dragons to slay than fighting amongst each other. Yep. You know what I mean? You know, when you own the rights to publish Superman, then you all can start arguing and bitching amongst each other again. Okay. But until you're writing and publishing Batman and Spider-Man and all this other shit, guess what? We still got other shit to fix. Yep. You know what I mean? Knock this dumb shit off, put it aside. Y'all can go arguing about shit later. You know what I mean? We got other things to do right now. Let's make money. Let's fucking take down these big guys. Let's create that parallel economy and let's become the new mainstream. You know,
I agree.
So that's just
dude. Yeah, I agree, man. And like, yeah, the fighting, like I said, it should happen. But like, yeah, we should never like actually have duels to the death, if you know what I mean.
Right. Trying to literally take each other out, whether that be business wise or, you know, social media wise or whatever. That's
if these freaking people on both political parties can have their conventions every year and get together and civilly discuss stuff. And I use the term civilly loosely, but you know what I'm saying? They can generally play along on the same team there, you know, and I'm not saying go all political party about it, but like, yeah, like why should any indie try to cut down any other indie, for example?
right.
Like it doesn't make sense.
No, that doesn't work at all. I mean, there's a good saying that goes along with that, and I can't remember what it is right now, but it's essentially one of those things. It's like, why am I gonna cut off my right hand before I go into battle? You know what I mean? It's like, why am I gonna try to take out all of these other soldiers that are essentially fighting the same villain I am? Like, why?
Right.
Because now all you're doing is having everybody else look at us the same way they look at all those fucking idiots out there in Hollywood and shit like that. That doesn't. So that the other thing too is that tells me what where your priorities lie. Are your priorities drama farming and starting bullshit, or are you out there to create things and make a difference?
Exactly.
So,
right. Everybody should get comfy with disagreement, right?
It's
It's not a friendship or connection destroyer. Just get comfy with disagreement and move on. I mean, think about the founding of our country.
Oh God,
that was a fight nonstop.
Dude, Adams and Jefferson literally never even reconciled before they died. Like Adams and Jefferson, it's like that was two of their biggest regrets in their lives. They never reconciled. I mean, like we literally used to have people cane each other on the freaking floor of Congress. You know what I mean? It's like, disagreements and having conversations with people you don't agree with is what built this damn country. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a reason why they locked up those 30 or those 50 guys for months at a time and just let them argue and hash everything out in a closed session. You know, because you didn't have to worry about pontificating and, taking stances and not change your mind later. They all disagreed with each other on shit. You had an entire room full of Federalists and anti-Federalists all arguing on how the future of the government of the country should be. You know, so it's like, disagreements and discussions and honest debate is what builds all of us. Iron sharpens iron. You know, it makes all of us better. That's why we are the Iron Age. See, there you go. I'm with you on that one, Bill. I fully endorse the return of tarring and feathering politicians. I 100% agree with you on that one, my friend. I 100% agree with you on that one.
You know, about a decade ago, I was wondering, like, who would ever attend a public execution? And now I know. I'm like, I'm kind of chomping the bit.
Dude, I'll say right now, there are definitely certain segments of people responsible for certain segments of our world that seriously damaged a lot of individuals out there. And trust me, I would be the first one in the line to pull the rope or kick the bucket. I will
or
gladly
slap the horse on his ass.
Slap the horse on their ass. Yeah, whichever it is. Like, you need volunteers for the firing squad? Cool. Where do I sign up? You know what I mean? Like, when do we start dropping commies out of helicopters? Wait, what? In Minecraft, of course. In Minecraft.
I don't know what we're talking about, but I think a black hood and a giant axe sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that works.
And there's a few of you. I wouldn't care how many $20 bills you slip the axe man. He's not sharpening that axe, and it's not going to happen. You're getting the dull blade. You're just getting the dull blade. Okay,
that's the way.
Yes, this is the way.
Heretics get the dull blade.
Yes, actually. So I've become a bit of a Warhammer 40K fan, and so I'm all about purging the heretic.
Oh yeah. Get the
Purge
flamer, the
Zito.
heavy
Yes,
flamer.
get the heavy flamer.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love it. Oh, I love it. I love it. But this I wanted to check out. Somebody was asking about this earlier. So you said you had a new theme song for the campaign, I guess. Is this the new one?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm proud of this. Shout out to Critical Blast. He surprised me with this one. And you know, you get to see more beautiful art from Luke Stone and all that. So I mean, yeah, dude, I'm proud of this thing. I throw it everywhere. I'm proud of the other one too that has voiceover work from my co-host Christian Megram, aka the Ultimate Kahuna.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you who did the voiceover work for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, he read directly from the source material for that one. So both of them are cool. I call that one my narrative trailer. This is the official theme song trailer. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, dope. Let's check this out. Let's check this out.
I felt it had a very anime vibe.
Oh yeah, it's totally got that anime intro vibe to it. Oh, yeah, with the beat and everything else. Yeah, that beat. Yeah,
it just made me want animation more. You know what I mean? Because I can see it in my mind, dude. Like very DBZ style intro, like in my mind. But it got me excited to throw this together, though. So yeah, I'm proud of it.
Hell yeah, I would be too. This is great.
This is cold outside, with the evening sunlight through the storms
Shower of the frozen lands, kingdoms of place within its hands. Succession, destiny calls. In the twilight we stand.
Hear the horn sound so clear. Hear the call, I no regrets. Every fight brings destiny nearer. A saga of sunset. Saga of sunset.
Now fields of frost and flame. In its heartbreaks fire and pain. On his path, the legends claim. Vehicles of his name.
Mountain peaks his eyes survey. Northern suns made to pray. Kingdom calls break of day. You claim this moment and come away. Hear the horn sound so clear. Hear the war cry no regrets. Every fight brings destiny nearer. A saga of sunset. Saga of sunset. Saga of sunset.
Dude, that is fucking dope.
Yeah, I had fun with it, man.
Dude. So, like, hands down, like, not even in a comparison, some of that is some of my favorite type of music. Like, I've always been really big into rock, but as I always played saxophone in school, you know, my grandmother raised me listening to like Beethoven and stuff like that, you know, and like I loved Mannheim Steamroller as a kid and like all of that kind of stuff. And some of the reason why I got so excited when I heard Evanescence for the first time was because that first song that they released, having her kind of operatic voice with that kind of more metal feel, and then with the metal co-singer, like I loved Nightwish, I love Nightwish, Lacuna Coil, like bands like that combine those two things. I absolutely love that. Like that, it was so funny. I always used to think about it as a kid. If I ever wanted to make music, that is the kind of music I would make, because I had some very attractive female friends of mine that were great voices, had incredible voices. And I was like, if we can set that to a badass rock guitar, that would be epic. And we saw so much of that for a while. And I love that. I absolutely love that kind of combination. So yeah, dude, that is your guy that put that together. That is fucking dope, dude. I absolutely love that.
Critical Blast is a printer for many indies. And he was actually telling me, I can't remember if it was on stream or off, but So I may be paraphrasing here, but something along the lines of he was a little bummed about Rip Ascend being announced because of one of the things they were saying that they were cornering a gap in the market, and he's like, hey, I exist. He's probably who I'm going to go through with printing too, because it's like another indie, you know what I mean? And anyway, I digress. The dude knows comics. That's my whole point. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that he came up with like the perfect freaking theme song for it, and especially when you have a clear idea, like just Viking orcs adventure, you know, let's go. It helps. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on that landing page too. I wanted to make sure people really understood without coming off too dry, I guess. But yeah, I poured some time over that landing page.
No, and that's always a wise choice, because it's your landing page for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, you're going, that's the first thing everybody's going to see. So you want to make, a really good first impression. And I think that's one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this. So this is one of the things we were going through and looking at some of your stuff while you were gone. How the hell do you plan on pulling off a hardcover for only $5 more? Like, that's fucking dope. That's a hell of a deal, dude.
Yeah, I was trying to keep them kind of in the same ballpark because of my knowledge with publishing my other book. I viewed this very much as a book rather than like a comic, right? And it's kind of funny. I say paperback, Luke says floppy. Yeah, we could get this many floppies. I was like, yeah, that many paperbacks would be cool. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the context I view it in.
Yeah, no, that's what I get to. It also just shows kind of like the differences in your backgrounds too. And there's nothing wrong with that. It makes total sense. Like, yeah, the difference between a paperback and a floppy too. Yeah, because that is, and honestly, it's one of those, I didn't grow up in near as much in the comic book sphere as a kid. So like the whole floppy term is something that's kind of new to me as well. And I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. You'd call it a floppy. That makes sense.
Right.
You know, what's really funny is I had no idea what a floppy was until Luke came on my show, and then he's like, you know, and then he goes, you know who else has a floppy? And then he reaches over and pulls out Flip City magazine, and I'm like, damn, Luke, flirt.
That's pretty floppy.
Right? I was like, wait. Christy probably was thinking, a floppy? Is that what happens when my husband's had too many cocktails? Like,
yes, exactly.
Oh my god.
I'm like, I know that floppy
comes off like Luke is breaking.
I had no idea, because I watched Nerd Bacon for a while, and Luke is who he is on Nerd Bacon. But my show's a different thing. And holy shit, I didn't realize how freaking based Luke is and how funny he is. I'm like, you're a pastor? Like, you're dirty, bro. Like, you're making me blush.
So you should scroll up just a little bit to that pink image there. This guy here. That's that guy. This is basically a pastor in my story. This is Limp Laver. He's the bent priest, I call him. He's kind of, I'm not going to lie, rereading it and stuff, a little bit of a caricature of like priests, right? Like every story needs that a little bit, but this is my orc rendition of it. He's an important character because he shows that they're like kind of how their society works in a lot of ways. But I digress. Look at how badass Luke made him. He's a good champ, dude. He's a champ. Like when I give him a character that, I mean, my writing is a little dark to begin with, just the way I frame a lot of the characters and stuff. But I digress. He's still able to take it and like make it badass. This is one of my favorite characters now, and I think he was just tossed in there as like, I don't know, somebody who disagrees and believes a different religion, I guess. But like as a former priest, even you could see how somebody could take that a little personal or whatever. No, instead he just made him look badass. Look at that. I love it, you know. Well, and he's very much the guy that's like blasphemy, you know.
I love it. So he'll probably end up being one of my favorite characters. I love it. I love blasphemy.
It's great.
It's blasphemy.
It's pretty great.
Well, and that's one of the things that it's like a lot of people go approach people that have been deeply religious or like have studied the Bible a lot and stuff like that. And for anybody that's never actually read it like all the way through or even read it a couple of times all the way through, the Bible is not the Sunday school stories that you were taught as a kid. You know what I mean? Like the majority of the Bible, there's good sections of the Bible that are legitimately NC-17. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those things. It's like, trust me, a lot of your best archetypes that you see represented in like modern comic heroes and stuff like that, a lot of them are archetypes from the Old Testament heroes. You know, and of course, it didn't help.
It's the greatest story ever told is the Bible.
Yep.
It's what
Right.
basically all of our literature comes from. You
Yeah.
know, the
I mean-
archetypes, and yeah, it is.
All the greats
Sorry for all
studied
you-
as a kid.
Yeah, sorry for all you atheists out there, but it's a basis for all good literature.
Right.
Yeah.
This is part of why I oh, sorry about that.
You're good.
Hold on.
I got puppies too, so it's no worries. I have that
but-
happen whenever somebody comes to the door.
Exactly. My wife is getting home too, so but yeah, it's one reason why I take like pre-Christian and pagan stories extremely seriously as well. I try to learn a lot about those because so much of it has been lost to time. Who knows what came before and who came before and stuff like that. We learn from things like Göbekli Tepe, and I mean, now there's a site in Indonesia that predates that. Constantly new discoveries in Africa and Egypt, constantly, all the time. Machu Picchu, the list goes on. Easter Island. We learn from things like this that the past is extremely mysterious, and it's like we're constantly disproving ourselves and learning more about it every year, to be honest. So I think it's really important to look into that, take it just as seriously as everything. I mean, like I'll read the Bible and I'll be like, this is really interesting, very old text, high reverence, and then I'll look at like the stories of like the Summer King and the Winter King in Celtic mythology, take that just as seriously, and then go over here and read into the Egyptian gods a little bit. The Indian gods, they're fascinating. They have full-on Star Wars going on in their mythology.
Yes.
It's literally the Avengers in Indian mythology, and I'm here for it. It's freaking awesome. You know what I mean? So
that's one of the things that irritates me so much about all of the race swaps and gender swaps and all of this other shit. It's like, if you fuckers would take 2 seconds to get out of your damn San Francisco, Los Angeles, Hollywood bubble and go somewhere else and learn something about somebody else's heritage, about somebody else's culture, about somebody else's mythology, you could bring in all kinds of incredible characters, you know, that are based in these actual proper representation of these people's culture and of these people's heroes. You know, you don't have to have Deadpool dress up for Cinco de Mayo and talk about his favorite tacos and his chimichangas. You know what I mean? Like that's not how you do it. I mean,
I'll be real. Deadpool is like worshiping pop culture, essentially.
Oh yes, replacing. No, he absolutely is.
It's replacing like what you're saying. Okay, it's replacing like what you're on the money. By the way, it's one reason why I get so frustrated with it too, because I am waiting for the Mansa Musa TV show where we see a strong, powerful black man who is the richest one of all time. He puts Elon and Bill to shame. He puts all the rich guys to shame right now. The dude simply passed through Egypt and destabilized the economy through the sheer weight of his rich, like he's just that wealthy and generous that the economy was destabilized from him walking through. There's so many cool stories you can tell about this powerful king who is undisputedly the richest man of all time. But I digress. Every culture has its like powerful, amazing stories to tell, and they just ignore it because, like you said, they're in their echo chamber, their Starbucks, San Francisco mindset, you know?
Yeah.
It sucks. A good example of this, like my wife actually has like, she's 50, she's basically a Nord herself. She's basically a Viking herself. So this, you can see why I would dive into this. Like I mentioned, she says she's also black. She got her ancestry test. And Asian.
Oh yeah. We've all
This
got
is
like
true.
that 1 or 2% black in there. I love
This
it.
is true. This is true. These are all facts. But yeah, I mentioned Celtic mythology because of my own ancestry and stuff like this. Like I'm trying to be a living example where I'm creating new heroes out of real history and diving into things that represent me. They're right about one thing. Representation does matter, right? But you have corrupted it. I'm talking to them now. You have corrupted representation by being so exclusive and so I'm sorry, racist, quite frankly, about it, and among other things, because they also group sexuality in there and a bunch of other stuff, politicized it. It is all just disgusting, rotting, and it's time for decentralization. But anyway, I'm trying to live by example here by creating new heroes out of my own like culture here, and they could do the same thing. Anybody who's harping on about something and says that you need to race swap the Little Mermaid, because that's the only option. Why don't you make guess where mermaids were probably spotted the most? Probably around Africa. So you could probably find some African mermaid stories if you really want to get into that. You know what I mean? Just saying. But
well, I mean, that's one. No, it's, I mean, I highlighted a story today that's got a Nigerian hero. It's this new animation series that came from a story that, the guy was born and raised in Nigeria, and like now they're bringing this and they're making it more mainstream. They're actually going in there, and he's like, it's so cool. He's like, we're creating Nigerian stories made by Nigerians from Nigeria, and it's like, this is great and this is awesome. I mean, I've talked about American Gods several times in the past. That the first 2 seasons are some of my favorite television as far as like mythology and stuff like that, because guess what? That's exactly what American Gods does. They go back there and they touch on everybody else's mythology. You've got Norse mythology. You've got whatever, some of like that Western block, some of their gods that they had over there. And then you had, Mr. Nancy, the spider trickster god from Africa. You had, Nancy.
Where's his story? Yeah, dude. There's some dope shit.
Right. They're just and they did it. And then of course the 3rd season went woke as fuck, of course. And that was back before I even knew what woke was. I just remember all of a sudden, all my favorite YouTuber people that used to do reviews on every episode stopped talking about the show. And I'm like, oh, it must have gotten really bad. And it did. And I didn't watch it.
And now Gaiman is canceled. And here we are.
Right. Yeah. Now Neil Gaiman's a product of the system he loves.
Yes. You love to see it. It's sad also because, you don't condone it. But yeah, you can also be a little bit less on the nose too with it. A good example of this is very popular Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones. George Martin surrounded her with Vedic symbolism. So she literally personifies the mother goddess. Okay. Like everything about her, like even some of the more pointless scenes, you know what I mean? They're not actually pointless. He's laying the symbolism on quite heavily. And he has done research into other cultures like Indian mythology. And like he took all the aspects of these different cultures, specifically around the idea of a mother goddess, and imbued her with that symbolism. And I mean, like, that's a subtle way of doing it, but there you go. You're honoring everybody by doing that. It's brilliant. Like, I love it.
I mean, isn't Khaleesi like the word for mother or whatever to them anyway? Yeah.
Everybody calls her Misa, which means mother in the in-world. It goes on. She's the mother of dragons. Like, it goes on and on and on and on. Yeah.
And then that's one of those great ways you can pull from that kind of stuff, represent it properly, and still get all that. And it's like I said, that's what irritates me so much. They're just being fucking lazy. They're being lazy, or it's intentional to divide and destroy. Those are the only 2 options. And honestly, I think in some cases it's more intent to destroy and divide more than anything else.
That's why they don't care about money.
No, exactly. That's exactly why they don't care about money.
Yeah, and I've been waiting to say this because I think it's a decent joke regarding, Celtic history is, I just have to say, we was slaves.
Yeah, we were slaves. Shout out to the Celts. Yep, we was good slaves. Yep. The Norse loved to enslave us. Everybody did, really, because all we
were the best slaves.
Docile. We were just like, okay.
All right, there's work to be done. Maybe that's why we're so on our grind,
hardworking,
on our grind all the time.
Yeah. No, I told my wife, I was like, it's kind of ironic. I was like, I married a Viking. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. My ancestors are like, wouldn't be the first.
I don't need to know what happens in your bedroom.
Raiding, pillaging, plundering. Yeah.
The lamentations of your women.
Gil Conan with it. I love it.
Exactly. I love that. That is great.
But yeah, man, this is This is a lovely talk. I would love to see more
is.
comic book. You see what I'm saying about the Deadpool thing, though? Like, when you think about like the symbolism of the mother goddess around Khaleesi, Kali Ma, Indian Vedic symbolism right there, like imbuing culture into it versus like, yeah, Deadpool is culture, but it's like pop culture, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying like he's cool, you know, breaks the third wall. He's one of my favorite characters among that universe, if I'm honest. But yeah, at the end of the day, you are just kind of, that's the thing that you would be propelling into the future is kind of current pop culture type stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I love the idea though, you know.
Right. Well, and it's one of those things. It's not everyone needs to be Deadpool. You know what I mean? And that's one of the problems we face in a lot of the modern era stuff nowadays is everybody wants to be Zack Snyder. Everybody wants to be damn it, Watchmen. Fuck.
Yeah. It's on the tip of my tongue too.
Right. I can see his damn crazy ass fucking wizard looking ass in my mind right now.
Yeah, the Watchmen.
Right. But yeah, everybody wants to do that. Everybody wants to dismantle the air. And it's like, you can do that every once in a while and you can have those stories. But at the end of the day, these are heroes supposed to be doing heroic things. You know what I mean? You know, Deadpool's the chaos factor. You know, Deadpool's the chaos god among the Marvel universe. You know, that's what
Loki.
he is.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He's the Marvel universe's version of Loki, even though they already have one. You know, it's like it's just, but that not everybody's supposed to be Loki. There's supposed to be a lot of people that are supposed to aspire to be Captain America. You know what I mean? I mean, hell, the one character that Deadpool respects and will do things no matter what he says is Captain America. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's supposed to be the standard. You know, Superman's supposed to be the standard. Batman's supposed to be the standard to a certain degree, you know? And the problem is now you have an entire world that wants to try to be Deadpool, that wants to try to be the Punisher. You know what I mean? And it's like that everybody wants to be the comedian.
Right.
You know, and it's like that doesn't work for every character. You've got to have your heroes. Yeah. Alan Moore. Thank you, Bill. Alan Moore. Yes. Alan Moore. Everybody wants to do Alan Moore's thing. And it's like, yeah, it was cool and edgy. Why was it cool and edgy? Because only Alan Moore did it. You know, it's like now everybody wants to do it. And it's like, we don't want this. You can't have it all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, you want to eat cake all day long, but you also don't want to weigh 300 pounds, look, you know, be as big as a broadside of a barn and have diabetes. You know what I mean? It's like that's everything in moderation. Everything in moderation.
Exactly. But yeah.
Thank you, Pritchard.
Thanks.
Kalima, you betrayed Shiva, Temple of Doom. Yes, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
When Jesse gets on a rant, everybody's like subject to just putting what they think in the chat.
sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. I mean, that's you know, I didn't get the nickname Angry Jesse for no reason for some of my epic rants. So, and I don't say they're epic. Other people say they're epic. Yeah, that comes from my Halo videos. When they first revealed to us Master Cheeks after that, because I was one of those, we all were kind of excited for that trailer because they didn't show us what they showed us in the show. And then, yeah, I kind of lost my shit over that one pretty hardcore.
Yeah, understandably.
Yeah, well, like Jesse, I'm one of those. What?
Jesse, just I had to let you know. You had said earlier that you were a sax player in band. No wonder I love you. I was also a sax player.
Nice.
Same
we have that connection.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I started off in alto, but I ended up switching to Barry, and I played Barry from middle school all the way through high school. So yeah,
that's so funny. I started with tenor and ended up playing Barry in concert band.
No shit.
And ended up having dude. It was funny because the guy, we only had one baritone every year, right? And then the guy graduated, and he was the tallest, blackest guy in our entire band that played baritone, and then it switched to a small little white girl. And my lungs were heavier than his. They had to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the reason, I think it was in like 8th grade or something like that. We could go, and because we went to a small, I was like, my graduating class was 100 people. So when I was in that era, it was a little smaller. And so like you in 8th grade, you were allowed to go and do marching band with the high schoolers if you wanted. So you could get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and go out there and march in the field and do all that kind of stuff. I did that shit one time with that baritone saxophone, and I was like, yep, fuck this, marching band ain't for me. I was like, I am not marching around this gigantic ass thing. That was not
absolutely.
happening.
And that's the thing, like our marching band did not have baritone sax, you know, it was altos and tenors. That's good enough. You know, I mean, you have tubas. Why do you need a fucking baritone sax? That's retarded.
Yeah, and the marching band. Yeah,
Anyway.
yeah, no, absolutely. That's fucking great.
I don't know. I don't know if you have any one time at band camp stories. One time at band camp stories.
I don't. I have one time at band camp story, and it's not my story because I never went to band camp. But in middle school, we got a brand new band teacher. So everybody had one teacher for 6th grade, and then she taught 7th grade, and then eventually she taught all of it after the old band teacher retired. But this was literally right after the American Pie movie had come out, and she did go to band camp a lot. And she did have band camp stories. And I know she had never seen the movie. She didn't see it till years later. And she was like one time at band camp, and we would all just start busting out laughing because we'd all seen the movie, or we at least knew the joke, you know, and she didn't, she had no idea. And I think eventually like she watched the movie over like the summer or something like that. And she kind of stopped telling band camp stories, but
exactly.
Anyway. So she had a lot. It was that was great. That was great stuff. I loved it. But yes, Tim Hayes, our very first channel, brings it up, boys and girls. We have officially crossed 900 subscribers over on YouTube.
Woo!
Congrats, bud. And on that note, I do have to go eat with my family. So it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, brother.
I thank you from the bottom of my heart for having me on. As always, Flip City, great conversations here. We didn't verge too far into politics, and we still talked about a lot of really educational and handy things for indies that I think is important to talk about. So cheers to you guys, and cheers to the chat. Hail everybody. Hit me up on X if you want to chat or whatever, we got to stay together as indies and keep pushing towards decentralization, so.
Amen, brother.
Where can everybody find you on X, by the way, if you want more followers?
X.com/A_C_Pritchard, and also on YouTube at Pritchard Pub. And I have some Substacks, you can read some free content. acpritchard.substack.com for the free story, and then pritchardpub.substack.com for the podcast. So
hell yeah. Well, appreciate you, AC. Appreciate you being here, man. Can't wait to read your book, dude. Keep up the hard work. Decentralization and that parallel economy is coming, and you're just one of the many that get working hard at it, man. So I appreciate that.
I'm waiting,
dude.
I'm excited. Yeah,
we got to have you back, dude. Great conversations.
Let me know what you think of my book too.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. Can't wait, dude. All right, AC Pritchard, boys and girls, go check out funmycomic.com. Pick up a copy of A Saga of Sunsets, a 70+ page book for freaking $25. Can't beat that with a stick, ladies and gentlemen. You can't beat that with a stick. Thank you, AC. Appreciate you, Bubba. See you later,
Talk
man.
to you later.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Hell.
Oh my God. I feel so exclusive and VIP right now with you, Jesse. What are we going to do? What are we going to do now?
Well, I mean, I do have like some topics that we could talk about. Like I did bring those up as well. Hey, since we just got done promoting his stuff, I got to go hit the head. Why don't you promote your Flip City Magazine stuff for a second and say hi to the chat? And by the way, thank you guys again on the 900 subscribers. Hell yeah. 100 away from 1,000 again, boys and girls. Yeah, we're going to beat that record by a long shot. So, there you go.
You know,
Pissy,
and
by all means,
I'm
tell everybody
scrolling
about your
chat.
wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful magazine. I'll
I'm
be
gonna
right back.
do it. Fucking get away and take a shit, Jesse. Um, yeah, I'm scrolling through the chat because there was actually a really great question, I think probably over a half an hour ago. But Grimgrin said, I was born in 86. Most of my time was spent curious about comic characters. Bloody hell, the trench coats. I don't know exactly what that means, but I would assume anybody that is tuned into the mainstream pop culture may. But there was a question. There was a question for the whole crew. Here we go. Brimgren says 2 questions for the whole crew is assembled. Do comic creators ever do or have channels like nerds do dramatic character description or 1 minute reads? I actually really like that question because on my own channel, I stream 1 time a week. I don't have the internet streaming capabilities of Common Nerd of doing it all the time because, of course, we're publishing a fucking magazine over here, so I cannot be streaming all the time. But on my own channel, if you search Flip City Magazine over on YouTube, every single Creative Chaos, when I bring a guest in, we do a segment at the very end called Flip City Branded because I need to brand every single one of our guests and not in the naughty, Nexus sex cult type of way. We brand them by doing some live reads of Flip City content. And the only reason I do it is because I know Flip City is so fucking funny that everybody needs to check it out. And if they're watching my stream, I make you watch it at the end. Kind of getting people to check out what we're doing is way more of a grind than I was expecting. And the only reason I actually do a stream anymore is it's a fun way to I didn't think I'd like streaming, actually. I hate social media. It gives me a lot of anxiety, but streaming itself, I have a great time with. So check out Creative Chaos on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and you will see a new independent creator because I'm all about building up the indies and giving them a platform to talk, even though my own platform isn't anything to like brag about. I don't have 1 million subscribers, and we probably have about 10 people watching live over on YouTube, and I've gotten a lot better at interacting with the chat, which has been really fun. It's kind of a learning process. So check out Creative Chaos Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific. And then check out our free magazine at flipcitymag.com. There, Jesse. I did it. I did it, Jesse.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. I knew you could handle it. It's so funny because I'll leave Sunker alone on Sunday nights because sometimes Mr. Grant Gregory will be like dealing with his kids or something. I'm like, I gotta pee. And she's like, no, don't leave me alone. She gets like anxiety about it. And it's so funny. I just
Wait,
laugh
who
at her. I
does?
kind of do. Sunker,
Feisty?
our co-host for the yeah, Sunker. No, Sunker Maiden, the one that's our co-host on the Doctor Who streams on Sunday nights, the one with the she's on the thumbnail all the time. Yeah, for a reason. Oh shit, I left my water over there.
Well, yeah,
No.
I have noticed that you like to highlight the titties.
I'm not stupid. I know what sells.
Yep.
I mean,
by the way, my kitty character over there, you're covering her little cleavage there. I'm a little disappointed in you.
I mean, I can
worked
cover
really
us.
hard bending over. Woo! Those are
There you go.
real. 100% organic.
There you go. And then that's for Sunday nights on Doctor Who. Oh, yeah. Yeah. People had to pay for that picture to get revealed too. The one that's on the thumbnail for Sunday nights. Because Sunker just did a So I have like the most amazing friends on the face of the planet, and they are totally willing to debase themselves. And there's another word for it. What is it when you sell your looks? I can't remember.
OnlyFans?
That's the modern era. No. But either way, they have no problem. They have no problem utilizing their God-given assets and talents to help me raise money. So like we did Tiny on one of our 24-hour streams. We did a dress up Tiny where you got to bid to pick the Tiny's next outfit. And then Sunker does photo shoots for us. Like the most recent one that she actually foolishly helped pay for it. Because we had a goal of like $500 to help with the move. And Sunker donated like $200, and then somebody else came in and donated like another $3. And so she had to do a librarian photo shoot. They pictures that got posted in the Discord for everybody. So yeah, my friends are really nice.
Did you know that moving is in the top 3 things of life circumstances that are the most stressful?
I fucking hate
death
moving.
in the family, divorce, and moving. Those are the top 3.
Yeah, but divorce, half of it's the moving part.
Right? So I think actually a good amount of people, if they're to the point of getting divorced, they're just happy to have it happen. I don't expect that to ever happen in my life. I'm in love with my husband. We've been making it happen for years.
That's
what's so funny. We're both creative people. My husband and myself. Are you taking a shit again? All right, go do it. Okay, so getting a drink. So I'll tell a story. So my husband and myself, we're both creative people, and we got married, I think, probably because we connect on that level. And gosh, I think 15 years ago, I was telling my sister, who obviously, they have their own marriage. She's like, oh, don't do it, Christy. Don't work with your husband. Don't build a business with your husband. You're going to be so sorry. And I haven't experienced, we've been doing creative projects, over the last 15 years together. And I haven't had any more fun than to collaborate with my husband, have our Friday night kitchen table meetings where we're drinking beer and making jokes at each other. And kind of made me sad for my sister that she can't do that with her own husband. And so, I guess, avoid divorce, be creative with your husband, and, do fun shit together. Right. Anyway.
In and out of the bedroom.
What?
I love it. I said in and out of the bedroom. You said be creative, do exciting things.
Yeah.
But no, it's just, and that's because I was listening. My fridge is right over there, but it's one of them situations where that's kind of what it comes down to. Not every relationship is going to be different. Every relationship balances themselves differently too, and not everybody can work together. Fortunately enough, you and your husband complement each other well enough. You've got, your roles. You know what I mean?
It is true. That is true.
Yeah, and if you know your role and you're willing to play by it, it makes the whole operation work a lot easier.
Yeah, and luckily we live in a 2-story house. He works downstairs, I work upstairs, and we come together throughout the day here and there, but it's not like we're on top of each other all day long.
That was also sexual. But yeah, that's one of those things that it does. You can do that kind of thing, and it works out. So yeah, I like that. There you go, Venus prostitute. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Thought crimes. Literal thought crimes. I love it. Well, you know what, Christy, you got anything? The DC lost billions of dollars, because homeboy sold off all of his stuff. You got any thoughts on that? Disney stocks at like $89 a share.
Hey, listen, like I will say all the time, I'm just watching the fall of Rome and, watching everything burn down. I'm cool to be the Phoenix that rises through the ashes. So like I'm never going to be sad about anything losing billions of dollars or coming crashing to the ground. So that's my thought on that. Yeah. What do you have to say about it, Jesse?
Well, it's just one of those things. I honestly think it's just with Peltz and Perlmutter both. They both sold the stocks when it was $115 a share. When they knew they were going to lose that proxy battle, they sold their stocks. That's the highest that stock has been since that happened. And so they got out while the getting was good. And they're going to wait until, I mean, Peltz hasn't said anything either way, but Perlmutter flat out said that if it hits $65 or $75 a share, he'll buy back in. And, you know, I don't know if it's going to do that this year, especially with Deadpool and Wolverine. But as soon as the hype of Deadpool and Wolverine is over and we go back to one disastrous dumpster fire after another, and the same thing with I don't know where, but the same thing with if that ends up being the case, then if they do that with all of the disastrous dumpster fires they've got, we know that Star Wars is trying to, the rumor mill is, according to Burbank, that sources inside of Burbank say that they're going to try to go back to a Luke Skywalker censored version, because guess what? Money's run out. This shit doesn't fucking sell. And at some point, with a corporation that size, you either have to turn it around and start making money, or someone else is going to come in and take you over, because you just have too many assets to not be valuable enough for someone.
You know, I'm wondering, you know, if you had to project how much of their profits are people just hate watching, or people like you, or you know, 1,000 other streamers that have to watch this shit and give money to the box office or whatever to, you know, watch something so you can comment on it. You know, what is that percentage of their profits?
Less than 1%.
Okay.
I guarantee it. It's less than 1%. People think it has a greater impact because it's what you consume. Almost every content creator, all the big ones, go and watch this stuff all of the time. But the thing about it is, you've got, say you are one of the most YouTuber of YouTubers watching, you watch all the big guys, you watch everything they do, you watch 100 YouTubers every week, and every single one of those 100 YouTubers goes and sees and reviews every Marvel movie and pays their Disney Plus subscription every single month. Most of them don't watch the show that way. Let's just say Quarter Black Garrett bought me a microphone. Okay. You start talking to people, you have conversations.
Wink.
Yep. But even then, say that 100 of them times $15, hell, we'll get $20 a pop.
Well, you know, I'm also kind of like involving their audience in that as well. Like, okay, right. I have to watch this too, because, you know, they're going to be talking about it, you know.
But most of the audience,
2%.
I'll give you 2%. If that, say 10%, say half their audiences watch, you know what I mean? Say 10,000 of the 20,000 people that watch FNT, right? Hate watch all of these shows right along with everybody review them. When you lose 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 1 million viewers per episode, every single content creator on YouTube and every one of their viewers that reviews this shit and watches it could watch all of that, and it would not add up to 300,000 people or 1 million people. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't, you know, it would not make up for the number, because I guarantee Star Wars Theory is probably the biggest YouTube channel in our corner of the internet. The guy's almost got more subscribers than the official Star Wars channel, right? And he's what, 2 million, 3 million people? And as a content creator, you know that 90% of your subscribers don't watch 90% of your stuff. You know what I mean? You know, it's a good day when you get 10, 20, 30% of your subscribers to watch your video. You know, you get excited and jump for joy when something gets more views than you have subscribers. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's not the norm of things. And that's why I hate that argument. It's gaslighting. It's a straw man argument on our side against people that hate this stuff so much. And I get why you do. That you don't want anyone to look upon it. You don't want to hear about it. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to think about it. And that's fine. I don't blame you. But trying to justify your hate towards people that do review this stuff and do watch it because they're adding to the numbers, I'm sorry, it's a BS argument. It's gaslighting to the nines. You're making the exact same kind of argument that they make when they say that everybody that disagrees with this show or doesn't like it is a racist. You know, it's a bullshit argument. It just is. So that's, and so, yeah, I don't review and watch as much stuff as I honestly would like to, but you know,
you schooled me well, Jesse. That's
the thing.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say is I'm a numbers guy, right? Like I have never been able to afford to go to these movies every time one of them opens to go see it just to review it and roast it. You know what I mean? I can't afford every subscription service out there. So my bread and butter when I first started doing YouTube was rumor mills when it came to Warner Brothers and DC stuff and covering box office numbers, covering viewership numbers, covering reviewing numbers. You know what I mean? That's how I know because I know these numbers, because I know that literally Doctor Who has lost 1.5 million view. Well, actually it's been 2.5. It's almost 3 million viewers since their 60th anniversary special when David Tennant came back. And now during Ncuti Gatwa's numbers. You know what I mean? That's why like these numbers are so large that all of us watching it wouldn't make a difference because we're not 50% of the country. We're not 50% of Western civilization. You know, we're 10% of it. You know, it's just that other 50%, that other 40% that generally agrees with us, they just ignore this shit. They just one bad Disney Star Wars show and they're out. You know what I mean? They canceled their Disney Plus subscription because Star Wars was the only reason they got it to begin with, you know, and they're out. And those are the people that are causing those hundreds of thousands of drops. They're causing you to lose hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars at the box office, you know? So it's just, yeah, I've always detested that argument. I've always detested that argument because it falls apart under any kind of scrutiny, under any kind of real scrutiny, it falls apart.
Right. Okay. Totally understandable. Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like I am probably not the best person to go through your whole list because we're not major pop culture connoisseurs or anything like that. But I'm here to sit and smile while on a rant if you want to go through any other topic.
No, I mean, I'm good. It's getting close to 8:30 anyway, and I definitely want to do memes before we get out of here because the only other thing was Twisters was blown away. It's a movie that deserves its success. It didn't have a message in it. The director believes films aren't made for messaging. I'm glad to see it literally beat box office expectations by $30 million. Like they expected it only to make like 55 million opening weekend. It made like 85. So like it actually smashed box office expectations. It deserves to. It's just a good, fun popcorn movie that you can go there with your family and enjoy and not have to worry about a bunch of BS and nonsense. And I'm glad to see that they're getting their just rewards. So I'd imagine that movie is definitely going to, with an opening weekend like that, with the exception of the only thing that's going to screw them on that movie and it actually making a profit and having legs is because the Deadpool and Wolverine movie is coming out this weekend. That's the only thing that's going to screw Twisters. Because that movie is just going to dominate the market for like the next month. Just like hands down. But fortunately enough, people that aren't into superheroes are going to go see Twisters, that still want to go see a movie. It's people that still want an action movie, people that are completely and totally done with all this stuff, but I mean, it's still going to be a major dominating factor of that one, but I'm just glad to see it did so good. So yeah.
I'd be happy to go to our local drive-in for that double feature, actually. Twisters.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, that'd be a hell of a double feature. A double feature. There were still a couple of drive-ins in Kansas City that they still did regular showings every weekend during the summer and stuff like that.
What a sad thing that there are very, very few drive-ins anymore across the United States. But in my area, we have 2. So, and that's something like, it's just for my own family, it's something that we've done with our own children is go to the drive-in because, it's the cheap way to go see a movie. And you get to sit outside and bring your own food, all that awesome shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good way to do it. Great way to sneak extra people in too. You put them in your trunk. You put your kids in the floor of the seat of the car. You throw a blanket over them. You're the only one in the car. That's all you're paying for. Yeah, all kinds of great ways to do it.
And
man.
those ticket takers don't know. They just let you do it.
No idea. Yeah, no idea. There you go. Look at this. Twisters is the first movie to make me reconsider my career choice since Nightcrawler back in 2014. There you go. Dude, I tell you what, the first one did that for me. When I watched that as a kid, I was like, ooh, I want to be a storm chaser. I was like, that would be fun. But yeah, I'm too lazy to go to meteorological school. But this is the cool part about the Twisters movie too. They're YouTubers. Like my favorite line from the trailer is they're hillbillies with a YouTube channel. I'm like, cool. That's you describe like all of GunTube. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're hillbillies with a YouTube channel. Fuck yeah, they make great content. Like that's the best shit in the world. Right. So yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle thing and Naruto, that's just IDDW desperate for relevancy and trying to sell books and make money. So Hasbro won't take the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles license from them, which honestly, now that I think about it, I guess kind of actually explains some of the things we may or may not be seeing with D&D. I don't know if they keep losing money. I don't know what Hasbro is going to do about that, but Hasbro is willing to pull things from people that ain't making money. And Hasbro is willing to push back against Disney and tell them to fuck off because their toys aren't making any money. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to go on with all of that, but yeah, it's IDW's desperate. And that's the only reason we're getting a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Naruto crossover. So any of you out there that are excited for that, by all means, I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's good. I really do. But just know the reason it's happening. Just fully understand the reason it's happening. So yeah. See, that's one of the things I was hoping Jason would be here for, because I'm sure he would have some thoughts on all of that too. Because he was,
I know, where the hell is he?
He said he might show up in the second
hour and 15. Yeah, hour and 15 minutes late.
He is. He absolutely is. It's pathetic. Yes.
Yeah, which by the way, not tomorrow, but the next week, I'm having Jason on my show. So I'm excited to get to know him over there. Yeah.
There you go. Well, you may regret that decision at some point, but we'll see what happens.
Why do you say?
Nah, Jason's great. I wouldn't have kept Jason around if I didn't adore him and value his very, very useful information. So, because he's just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to like comic books and the artists and the creatives and the stories behind them and everything else. And I'm like, yeah, that's something you need on your team if you're going to be doing a show where you're constantly bringing in comic book artists and creators to come on and talk about shit. I'm like, I'm just here to promote you and talk you up. Jason's the one that can be like, yeah, by the way, your stuff reminds me of X, Y, and Z. That's so amazing. I'm like, that's what he's here for.
That's actually quite fascinating to me, because I have my sidekick on my show, which is exactly why I brought him in. He's a huge comic book fan. And, I've been debating whether I should be, this way or that way publicly. And I'm like, I want to be genuine online. Right. I'm not a huge comic book fan or anything like that. We're doing our thing, but what's been really fun and I'm loving doing is any of my guests or other people that are willing to send me PDFs of their magazines. Like, I am becoming a comic book fan, but only through the indies right now. There's people doing amazing shit, like producing awesome stories that I'm loving. And I'm just excited to, see, this alternative thing build up over here. I'm becoming a comic fan, but not the mainstream shit.
No, well, and they, I mean, I titled my channel the reason it is I'm a common nerd. Like I'm into all of this stuff. I love it. There's a few things that I know a fair amount of bit, but I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none, but sometimes better than a master of one. Nerd is what I am. And I have always told everybody that. I have always come out and been very open about all that kind of stuff, that I know a little bit about a lot, but I don't know a lot about too much at all. And that's the reason why I love having people around me that know this kind of stuff. And I'm coming at this, a lot of this stuff is from almost a little bit of a more of a normie perspective. And if you've got my ass, who is relatively easy to please, I like Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 1. Okay. Like I enjoyed that. I thought it was a good time. Okay. Like I liked Black Adam. Okay. Like it doesn't take much to make me happy. And if you pulled my ass off the bench to turn on a camera and a microphone and start screaming about things, you've really fucked up. You know what I mean? Like you've really fucked up. So it's like, you know, and so, but that's why I love having people like that, or like Jason around, people like Tiny, who knows her manga left and right. Diesel's an incredible Transformers, an alien nerd, you know, so that I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything, and I'm smart enough to surround myself with experts that know a whole lot more about things than I do. And I think that's
a great way to make. Yeah, that's a great way to build a variety show, you know, and that's what you're doing over here.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. You know, it's funny. I think you're the antithesis to Scott, you know, my husband, because he basically hates everything. You know, the whole Rebel Moon thing with the Zack Snyder, they went to the same school. And it is funny.
Really?
And not at the same time, but it is funny, like kind of looking into the politics of art schools and, you know, how everything functions there. My husband was hated because he was doing his art to like kind of subvert the dominant paradigm and all this. And, you know, he's going to a liberal arts school in California. So, you know, everything that if you are a favored person in that school, you're going to become an immediate success because it's a very popular art school where everybody pulls from. But if you're the hated, if you even try to get into the industry in a small role, you know, it's likely your name's been passed around like, do not hire this guy. But it inspired us like, dude, we have to do our own thing, you know? So politics.
It is. And it's like, but, you know, it's one of those things. It's like, you know, it's the old thing, you know, the best things come out of you having to deal with perseverance and trying to overcome obstacles and like all of that kind of stuff. And it's funny because we read about those, you know, we read about those stories studying the Old Testament on Sundays. And it's like, yeah, you see that. It's like, God doesn't give you anything you can't handle. And more often than not, if you're being tested, it's to prepare you for something even worse that's coming down the line, you know, and it's to make sure that you can, it's for you, because God already knows you can handle it. Otherwise he wouldn't have given it to you. It's for you to find that out and know that you can handle it and overcome it and make you a better person in the process. It just depends on how you decide to deal with it.
Glorify God in the process.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's part of my morning prayer every day is I will glorify God with what I'm doing. Yeah. You know, and it's made me a much happier person.
Oh God. Yeah. Okay. Literally. Oh God. Yes. And that's one of the things that, you know, that's one of the things that I always, whenever I try to pray and, you know, and whenever we do that stuff on Sundays before the meal, it's like, you know, let everything we do be for the glory of God. You know what I mean? At least help expand his kingdom. You know, I might not be preaching every day, but by God, bitching about the evil that Disney's doing is going to point somebody towards the right direction. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the reasons why, that's one of the reasons why I think they try to attack our heroes. That's why the enemy wants to tear down heroes like Superman and Batman and, you know, Captain America, because they cause you to look up. They cause you to aspire to a higher ideal, a higher morality. And if people look up long enough, they're going to start wondering what's up there and who's responsible for all of this stuff and those higher ideals. But if you're constantly looking inward, you're constantly looking at your feet, you're constantly worried about all the bullshit problems you've got going on and not how you can be better and how you can raise yourself up to a higher level, well, then you'll never be anything other than exactly what you are now and exactly what they want you to do, an easily controllable person who just goes along with the crowd and does whatever the rest of them say. And that's the point. That's the
And
point.
most likely being a piece of shit while saying I'm a good person.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's why it's like the virtue signaling, right? That's all the effort they are willing to put into to being a good person. Like, we know all these people are scumbags. You know what I mean? Like, we know that by their actions. We know that by what they do. Disney, for all their virtue signaling in the world, you know, not in recent era, during the Star Wars prequel era or the Star Wars sequel era, they shrunk Finn on the IMAX poster for China. They put T'Challa's mask on the IMAX poster for China. You know what I mean? Like, they're racists, but they virtue signal all day long like they're not.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, yeah, absolute insanity. Absolutely insane. Rebel Moon, no. Black Adam, if I'm baked enough. There you go. I liked Black Adam because, like, it wasn't a girl boss. And there was a lot of great chemistry among the characters outside of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson plays the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in absolutely everything. And so that's just the way that one is. That's just the way that one is. But boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting to be about that time, because you know what else is wonderful, fabulous, and great to look at besides just me? Oh, and of course, Christy. Memes. Shout out
Great
to
stinger.
You like that? Yeah. No Green Rocks made that, and so anybody that wants that can get that from Rocks, and and add that to their stuff. So yeah, that was something we used to do on Winding Down Wednesdays when we did memes at the end of the night every night, and then the memes stopped flowing as much, and so they stopped doing it as much for some reason, and so I'm like, well. No, we have a memes in Discord. You drop your memes in Discord all week long, and we'll go in and look at them. I'm
going to have to go there and drop some memes sometime. I'm in your Discord, by the way.
Good.
It's
good.
It's part of my social media anxiety. I join things and I just lurk. I'm a weird lurker.
Mine's not even anxiety. I just don't have the time to be in these things all of the time. Like people that live on Twitter all day long. And I'm like, I don't know how y'all do that shit. Like, I really don't. I got too much on my plate to have time doing that kind of stuff. But like, you know, not everybody's situation's a little bit different though, too. You know what I mean? So I have my notifications on though. So I know everything more or less. I know everything that's going on in my Discord. I'm just not always in there replying and saying, so I'm like 7-Eleven. I'm not always working, but I'm always open. I'm actually just always watching you. I'm like the watcher.
And
of
you're
my
always slurpying.
Always. I love a good Slurpee. I'd prefer to get a good Slurpee, truth be told. I'm not going to lie. I would prefer a nice Slurpee. But yeah, you know, we take what we can get.
Let's laugh at memes.
Yes, they fooled you about the story about Robin Hood. Robin Hood did not actually steal from the rich. No, he actually stole from the government, which is stealing from the people. He stole from the king and his cronies. When he gives back to the poor, he's returning their property to them. It's not an act of charity or redistribution of wealth, but a rebellion against the state. Now think about why they constantly teach the story wrong. I wonder why. Good point, Circus Frank.
Interesting.
She's the man.
What the hell is that?
Oh,
Why?
God, if it was a shortcut to happiness, if it was made these days. The devil. I don't even know what that one is. I don't even know. Is that the real cover? I don't know. Shortcut to happiness. When you try to appeal your banned word to the YouTube review board. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, talking to a brick wall. talking to a brick wall. Yeah, because that's happened to some people recently too. Please don't wash your balls in the Baja Blast. Management.
Oh God.
Who are you to
I
tell me how
really
to
hope
live my
that's a
life? I
photo
thought this
op.
was America. I love Baja Blast too. So please don't actually wash your balls in the Baja Blast. I love Baja Blast. Don't taint my Baja Blast with your balls. Please don't. Oh, now there's always one guy. There's always one guy. If you don't get this, you probably shouldn't be following this account. That's a good point. Do we have to explain it to you, Christy?
Yeah, do it because trying.
Two in
I
the
don't know.
pink, one in the stink. It's the shocker.
Oh,
Two in the pink donut, one in
okay.
the stinky donut. Yeah.
Got it.
It doesn't always shock them. Sometimes they ask for it. If you think his eyes were far apart, then you should see them now.
Heyo.
When you're trying to be productive, but it's sunny and fucking 80 degrees. Yep. I absolutely agree with that one. Sometimes, yeah, the beer. Oh, Lucy Mercante. I thought the bad corpo guy in Twisters was hot and leaned over to say I'd hit it mid-movie. Later that night, my friends told me that it's the new Superman, and I flooded my basement. It's Jovier. Yeah, this is the same chick that would accuse all of us of sexual harassment if we said something like that about a female.
I see.
Sheila Jackson Lee. I'd rather die than listen to another minute of this speech. You got it, bitch. Oh, did she die? I don't know. Did Sheila Jackson Lee die? I don't know.
Oh, yes. She was tweeting up to the time of her death.
Really?
Trump. Like that's what she was doing in her dying hours.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Damn. Two in the pink, one in the stink is in the Vulcan. That is wild. Well, be careful what you wish for. Keith Richards, outliving Richard Simmons, has me questioning this whole exercise and healthy eating thing. Oh, good point. Shout out to Richard Simmons. Magic Mike grossed $167 million. If you still think girls like dad bods, keep dreaming, pal. Shrek grossed $484 million. Yep, absolutely. All right, that looks like it might be everything we've got since last week. Let me double check here real quick and make sure we didn't miss any because I've actually jumped in there and looked. Yep, nope, there you go. Nice to meet you, President Bush. Nice to meet you, Vice President Trump. Yeah, Achievement Unlocked, survived assassination attempt. Yep. So that was great. That is great. Well, shout out to all of our wonderful meme lords and meme collectors out there. You guys are absolutely freaking amazing. So we're going to wrap it up, I think, a little early tonight, which is actually going to be nice. I'll actually get like a halfway decent lunch break between this stream and my next one because I'll be over at the midweek hump over at 9:30. So yeah. So boys and girls, we're going to wrap it up. I appreciate all you hanging out with us tonight. Shout out to AC Pritchard, of course, tonight for coming on. That was an absolute blast having him. Great insight. We didn't get to a single topic that I had on the list, really. And honestly, I love those kind of shows. I love having guys come on like this, just like we had a couple of weeks ago. With what's his face on, and I mean, like we literally talked about his comic for like 15 minutes. Yeah, Jesse. Yeah, sorry, too many Jessies. But yeah, we had Jesse Blaze on a couple of weeks ago. I mean, literally that was a 3-hour show of nothing but us just bullshitting about all our thoughts on the comic book industry and on pop culture and everything else. And I love doing that, especially with new guests, getting to hear their perspective. I mean, AC made a great point about this being essentially nothing more. You know, a lot of this kind of stuff is just the damn it, I hate it when I do that. The stereotype of so many things that we love, right? It's the stereotype of what they think we love and know. And I think that's a really good point. I think that's very insightful and something I just never thought about it that way, but I think he's very accurate on that one. So I think that's cool. I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty. I was just watching some of the stuff that's been going on. AC was great.
I was so happy to see that you had AC on tonight because Met him, like I said, met him a while back. Thought he was pretty cool. Invited him on my show. He stood me up. I'm okay. I'm not holding anything against him. But it was great to hang out with AC tonight and get to know him a little bit more.
Yeah, and I mean this is what I tell people in the chat. This is what I'll tell you guys. I mean, I put a post out there on Twitter. Find me your indie comic book creators. Find me your indie creators. I don't care if they're creating a freaking YouTube short animated series. I don't care if they're making fan fiction for a property we know and love, or maybe it's a property I don't know shit about. Maybe some of you guys do and you know and you love it. Like, I don't care what it is. If you're out there independent, doing your own thing, creating your shit, Winding Down Wednesdays is your home to promote this kind of stuff. Because I didn't say this when AC was here, but this is something that the reason why I started doing this and bringing on comic book creators and indie creators of any kind, because there are much bigger platforms out there that aren't doing this, and they should be. You know, there's no reason you can't find time in your schedule every week or even once a month. You ain't even got to do it every week like I do. Do it fucking once a month. Do it once a quarter. Yeah, find an independent outfit.
How about a fucking tweet, yo? How hard is that?
Yeah, you know, but it's like that we should be highlighting those.
You change somebody's life. Anyway, I'm not going to trash talk, but that is the absolute truth of the matter. These big people who have the audiences, and they love talking about being the in the culture war, you know,
right.
But all they're doing is complaining about the culture. I'm like, you're a grifter. Sorry, you're a grifter. If that's all you're doing is complaining about culture, you're not a culture warrior. The end. That's
well, you know, and it's one of those things. I don't have the talent to draw to save my fucking life, and I don't have the time to sit down and write the book that I've got in my head. I just keep putting notes and things together. But it's one of those things. It's like, you know, we've done this twice now. We hit 4,000 subscribers on the last one. We just crossed 900 tonight. Y'all were here for that. We hit 900 tonight. You know what I mean? And this is something that's been part of my channel now. It'll be part of my channel when we hit 100,000 subscribers. You know what I mean? Because I want to get to that point where we have such a large audience in this stream every night that if we find one of those little creators out there that's, you know, one of those guys like what Jason was, what AC is, what all the rest of these guys, keep doing this, keep bringing these on. I want to be able to bring these guys on, and I want to be able to basically fund their comic in one night. You know what I mean? Like, or at least get it pretty fucking close. Awesome. You know, put a fucking $1,000 in their pocket. You know what I mean? Maybe not fund their comic, but be able to have a large enough audience where we can put $1,000 in sales in their pocket every time they come on one of these shows. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason all of these other creators couldn't do something like that. You know, and if they don't want to do it, that's fine. It's their priority. It's their business. It's their job. Fine, whatever. Do it your way. I'm gonna do it my way. You know, it's like when when I was in the union and I was a chief steward, and they used to ask us about other union shit. What goes on? What was our response was always, I like my union. I like the way my union does things. You know what I mean? So that's the way we're going to do things around here. That's the way I like to do things. And that's the way I will keep doing things, you know, as long as the Lord keeps me in this chair and this is the path he sets before me. And I will do that until the last Winding Down Wednesdays, and until I freaking croak on stream for all of your guys' entertainment, you know? So, you know, because there's gonna be a point where it's like eventually all I have to do is play video games. Like, other people will be creating content. I'm like, y'all, this is the Common Nerd News Network. Y'all go cover anime. Y'all go. I'm gonna sit back and stream and bullshit with everybody. Like, you know. But I mean, that's crazy stuff thinking of. But anyway, that's what I like to do, and it's something I want to keep on doing. And it's something, you know, I mean, we've got you on here now as a permanent, you know, co-host for as long as you're willing to put up with us. Jason was the same thing around all that. Hey, trust me, once you make it on the thumbnail, you're not going anywhere, unless you leave on your own accord. And then even then, sometimes I whack people over the head with sticks and make them come back. But yeah, so it's one of those things. Yeah, literally. But instead of pulling you off stage, I'm pulling you back on stage. It's the reverse of the old gag.
Cool with that.
So yeah, it's fun shit. Well, appreciate you guys out here, Venus, Jim Bone, and everybody else, Tim Hayes, Nightwing. But boys and girls, we're gonna let Christy tell everybody where y'all can find her at. Let her shill one more time for her wonderful stuff. I'll shill, and then we're gonna wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna wrap it up for another fine edition of Winding Down Wednesday. So, Christy, Kitty Flips,
I'm gonna do it.
Where can they find you? Do it, baby. Do it.
Oh, hey, I didn't even get to say this tonight, but I'm like riding high today because there's a contact that I've been working on for like 4 years to collaborate with that we spoke with today. Huge, huge, almost 1 million YouTube subscribers that I will let you know more about as we're developing our thing, but it's going to be a huge change for Flip City as far as like being able to boost our reach out into the interzones and, you know, have somebody giving us a thumbs up and all that kind of cool stuff. So that was a cool thing that happened today. So yay for Flip City. Find us at flipcitymag.com. We posted a simple sampler directly on our website that you don't have to give us any information to view. Go check it out, laugh your ass off, then sign up for the super sampler. You just have to give us your email address, get the super sampler, laugh your ass off some more, and then I get to directly market to you to say, hey, I know you love us. Like, fucking go buy our magazine. So flipcitymag.com, that's where you do it. Social media, at Flip City Mag. You can find us pretty much across all platforms, searching that. And then check out me and Jesse Blaze Snyder tomorrow night, Thursday, 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. EST for Creative Chaos. I found out a lot about Jesse that was not covered on your stream. That fits more within our brand, including going into like a new Illuminati and conspiracy shit. So I think it's going to be fun. Yeah, it's gonna be
hell
fun.
yeah. I love that kind of shit. So I love that. It's one of those things. It's like forbidden. Like I love it when I get a chance to catch Forbidden Frontiers with like Gary and Quarter Black, of course, because Quarter Black's my boy. And it sucks because it's like right before my show. And I'm like, I just don't want to watch. I just want to chill the fuck out and decompress. And it's just like, yeah, but I love all that stuff. I was fascinated by all that shit when I was a kid. I went through probably every book the library had on like ghosts and Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster and like all of that kind of stuff. Like I love all that stuff. Like we want to go ghost hunting and we want to do all of that kind of shit. So yeah, I love all that kind of stuff.
So fucking excited that like got to meet you and that I'm a regular now, because I think we're just going to become closer and closer friends, because I think we're very similar people actually.
I agree with that. So I'm enjoying this a lot. And remember, don't forget who your friends are when you start hanging out, rubbing shoulders with like million YouTubers.
Believe
and shit
me,
like that.
I know.
Right?
I know. I'm not going to forget. That's the thing. I've been forgotten plenty of times. I know what it feels like.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally get you on that one. I've been there before. So yeah, I feel that. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I will be over the midweek hump tonight at 9:30 for our second to the last episode of the midweek hump. That show does end at the end of July next week. So make sure you guys come check us out tonight. I have no idea if we're having a special guest tonight. It might just be the crew screwing off. Shags didn't even realize that we had one more Wednesday left in July when he had all this stuff planned out. So I have no idea if we're ever going to guest this week or next week. I don't know what the hell's going on. So definitely come hang out with us though. It'll be a good time. Come wish us all a farewell and all of that kind of stuff. I released 3 videos today, 4 or 5 videos yesterday. I've got a couple more coming out tomorrow. Make sure you got that notification bell smashed. Go check out those videos. We just crossed 900 subscribers. So boys and girls, on our way to 1,000. Go watch all those videos. Go comment. Go leave a like. Go check all that stuff out. Keep pushing us out in the algorithm, because I could not do this without every single one of you guys, and that is an absolute fact. So I appreciate all of you guys so very much for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Jesse with the Common Nerd. I bring you pop culture and all things 33 common sense lens. God bless. I love you all and enjoy the credits. By the way, this is Christy. She had a good time too. Night, guys. Love you, AC Pritchard. We'll see you next time.
Bye.